every Friday on our website. Red feather deep, here's the receiver who breaks a tackle. It's Bovine. Brantley trying to catch him. He won't. And Oklahoma City on the first play of their next drive busts it loose and they regain the lead. Are you kidding me? Tiberius Bovine once again making the big play. Unbelievable. One wide receiver either side for Mike, and Daza will flip it out to Sim, and Sim makes the play! 10-5 touchdown! The doctor is in! The Crabs have a lead! Oh, mama! There goes that man!
To the right, single receiver to the left. Dunhill to throw, has time, goes deep down the left-hand side. That was complete behind the defense. They can't catch him. 10-5 touchdown. Atlanta. Boo Chisholm does it again.
Hand off to English on a first down, trying to get it around the left-hand side. Takes a long way around, but still picks up the first down. Still on his feet, down the sideline. Johnny English past the 20, 10. He scores again. Touchdown, Honolulu. On one of the craziest runs after fake punt, pass, kick, whatever I've ever seen. Unbelievable.
Mama, there goes that man.
I mean, he goes 5 yards back before he scores.
Yeah, I was going to make a comment about that, but I'll keep my comments to myself because he took this one to the house. He was blazing. 51 didn't have a shot.
So the Skyhawks having trouble on first and second down sometimes in terms of moving the chains, but they have converted on a decent amount of these third downs. I believe they've only had to punt once. Snap back, hand off to English, right up the gut. English fights his way for a first down again, and can you believe that? Johnny English, that's the second time on third down the man has just taken the ball and ran right up the gut for a first. This is a man possessed, ladies and gentlemen. He wants this Skyhawk team to succeed, and it looks like he's...
Splint backs for Louis Ndula. Josh to throw, right into Big Sexy.
Big Sexy. Another country is heard from. Oh, yeah.
He just blew right by the offensive tackle. Gave him one little move and boop, down the quarterback went.
Split receivers and offside, and Snowden's going to take the handoff. Snowden, Richard Snowden spins back inside, breaks a tackle and scores. That's going to be a touchdown, DC. How in the world did he keep his balance and move the other way?
Wow, that's well, we were just talking about it too. You know, Snowden's got that ability to break away, and had he had more field there, he was definitely able to keep going. You know, he goes through the whole guy, doesn't have a whole lot of room there. One guy misses a tackle, he spins on him another, and shakes off that one right down there at the end and is able to get in there. So DC is shown early on. They set the pace with the first touchdown, and then they come and they answer back with a great drive there.
Walker's deep pass is picked off. That's interception number 3 on the night. Eddie Gage gets up and returns it to the 34. How about Baltimore's defense against Kevin Walker? He did not throw 3 interceptions all of last season in any game. And only 2 times in his career has Walker thrown at least 3.
These two defenses right now canceling each other out. Showing a blitz up the middle, they bring it. Bentley running right into it. Bentley gets away from it. Bentley's got a first down. Breaks a tackle. Ray Bentley, he's gone. And the Aztecs are going to score and get on the board. Welcome to the game, Ray Bentley. And the Aztecs are right back in it just like that.
every Friday on our website, Red Feather.
Welcome to Impact Monday Week 4 edition. Let's make sure that everything is going, and it is. We're in good shape. Paul Sarp, Cameron Irvine with you. Good evening, Paul. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great tonight, Cam. Excited to see some good football. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get going.
It was a wacky Week 4. It really was, and we're hoping for some good things tonight. Florida and Portland. Just to set the stage here, Paul, Florida is 0-3. They have made the playoffs before after starting 0-3, so you can never count them out. However, this has been kind of an odd three-game losing streak to start. Bullet Boletsky has not been able to get going. Ron Cochran has thrown a bunch of turnovers, and Florida just hasn't looked right just yet to start this season. First, your thoughts on the Storm, Paul, just to start out about, what you're hoping to see tonight.
I'm expecting Florida to kind of switch it up from what we've seen so far in the season. Again, as a former member of Florida, I know how hard those guys work in the front office and as a team in general. So I expect Florida to kind of switch it up a little bit and kind of try to get back on the right track here moving forward.
For Portland, 1-2, but it hasn't necessarily been the easiest of beginnings. It seems like Portland kind of digs themselves a certain depth of hole to start every season, and then they begin to climb out of it. They started 0-4 last season. They got a win last week to avoid that start, but would really like to get to 2-2 here. And, Ezekiel Love's been a big part of their team, but even he has not played great. We have seen Cyrus Jive take the next step of his maturation process, and he's playing pretty well.
Yeah, Cyrus Jive, I'm super excited to see him play tonight. And like you mentioned, Ezekiel Love, he's the workhorse for Portland. Again, he hasn't been playing necessarily the best he can, so I'm excited to see him get going tonight, but you got to get the team involved if you're Portland. You can't tire Ezekiel Love out too fast and rely on Ezekiel Love. So you gotta get the team a little bit more involved to have a chance to win tonight.
Before we get to a recap of Week 4, let's look at chat. Shout-outs. Slap Goat is in the chat. I don't know what Goats ever did to you, but, do whatever you have to regain authority. Josh Farnsworth.
That's the greatest of all time.
Josh Farnsworth, Cliff Allen, Justin Reside in the chat. Yes, too many buttons. I've had a larger touchpad that's been sitting on my desk for 4 weeks, and I haven't been able to set it up. Been too busy, and it's causing me problems. Nick Hoagland is in the chat. What up, Nick? Grant Hardaway. Dan Tritz had a nice game for Mexico City this week. Nathan Hall's in the chat. Ty Patak's in there. Fox Highwind as well. Mark Hurwitz, Arizona Scorpions.
That like button.
Yeah, hit the like button. Mark says Chaos in Canton, and yeah, we're going to get to that later on here. Curtis says that's a bad joke, and yeah, that one is too. Skippy with a $1.99 super chat. I'm good at touching buttons, allegedly. Daddy's here, says Andy. So, yeah, take that for whatever that is worth to you, if you're his son or not. But Florida, Portland coming up here at 8:15 p.m. Eastern, and we're ready and willing to recap week number 4, and we begin with our headlines. Paul, Atlanta is ready for the rematch because with their win over Jacksonville, that means they're going to be undefeated when we see them in week 6 in a championship rematch with Sioux Falls. They have a bye next week, and they can rest easy as the Sparrows will be in a battle with Tulsa in week 5 to try to avoid a 1-3 start. So that's going to be a great game when we get to it in a couple of weeks. Las Vegas and Canton are your upset specials of the week. Both 17.5-point underdogs from Jack's data, and both got the win. Vegas doing it on the road, even that much more impressive. And then the Atlantic is interesting. All last season, Paul, it was the South beating up on everybody else, everybody being over 500, everybody making the playoffs. Well, this week, Carolina and D.C. both beat Southern Division teams. There are no teams above 500 in the South at the moment, and Carolina and D.C. will play next week to try and battle for that second-place supremacy. What caught your attention from week 4, Paul?
To me, Cam, seeing Las Vegas, like you said, Las Vegas and Canton, 17.5-point underdogs, to go against the spread there and to be the underdog headed into the game, to go in, handle business, come out with a victory. Can't ask for anything more than that. Another big standout, I want to shout out Seattle. We'll talk about them here in a little bit. Going to see a little bit of that game. But again, Atlanta staying undefeated. Excited to see them here week 6 on Impact Monday, Cam.
DC now 4-0 against Alamo City. We'll have highlights and reaction from that game in a little while. But for now, let's get to those highlights. And Paul, guess who leads the show? Holy moly, it's Seattle and Los Angeles. Let's go to California. First quarter, Nemesis got off to a hot start, up 10-0, but it's Shea Carroll right up the gut, puts out a mini stiff arm and outruns the coverage. And Los Angeles, boy, did they need that, because before that kick return, they had 0 yards of offense. Actually threw an interception on their first play, but this has been their struggle. In the red zone, 3rd and goal, they run Logan Jack, who can't get anywhere. They have to settle for a field goal. Now 13-10 in the second quarter. Sully Richardson gets things moving. That's Jack Flash with the catch, and LA's back in the red zone. Would they actually get a touchdown this drive? That pass is hauled in by Tommy Rahman down to the 2, and they're looking pretty good. Next play, Sully in the corner. They got in just barely. 17-13. Los Angeles takes the lead over Seattle on that Shea Carroll touchdown, but Seattle was not done at the end of the first half. Trellis Blanton shifting around in the pocket, completes one over to the 24-yard line. 2 plays later, it's Blanton to Pauly Truth, sliding into the end zone for a touchdown, and Seattle takes a 20-17 lead into the half. Third quarter, Blanton steps up. He is sacked. Gary Marks had 3 sacks in this game. He was relentless against Blanton and that front. Now tied at 20. 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and there's more pressure from the Los Angeles defense. That would force Seattle out of field goal range. But with 20 seconds to go in the fourth quarter, and it's still a tie game at 20, Sully Richardson fires to try to get into field goal range, and Amar Bryant Jr. rips it away and gets Seattle near scoring position, Paul.
It was incredible game. All the entire game, I couldn't breathe. I was having a heart attack. And LA, shout out to LA for coming out and playing as hard as they did. It definitely was not an easy game for us.
Los Angeles less than 300 yards of total offense in this game. Their offense has been struggling 13 games in a row. They've scored under 30, but they were still in this game. 1 punt in the first half, 12 in the second half between Seattle and LA. Trellis Blanton needs a conversion. Got a conversion, a 15-yard pickup, and a quick timeout with 5 seconds to go would bring out Ronald Suey for a chance at a 40-yard game winner to give Seattle their first road win in franchise history. Had lost their first 8. And off the leg, the kick is good. 23-20, Seattle beats LA. LA falls to 0-4. Paul, your thoughts on Seattle's first win of the season and them getting the job done on the road in Los Angeles?
Oh, it was awesome, Cam. You should have seen our locker room after that victory. Again, the whole team was fired up. First, I want to give a shout out to the front office. I know they're putting in tremendous amounts of time. Ethan Kai, David Harrell, Brady Clark, Doug Day, Tita Queen. Shout out to Amar Bryant Jr. What a great interception there. And even better to get some yards to help set us up to score with 10 seconds left. I want to give a shout out to the Harrell trio, absolute staple of the defense. They played great. I want to shout out my quarterback, Trelly B, and shout out everyone on the team, and shout out Pauly Truth, getting it done.
Michelle Colston is booing you in our stats truck. She is standing by with Ron Haynes for stats of Impact Monday here tonight. And, now at least she doesn't have to listen to it for the rest of the show. And Paul got it all out of his system. Seattle hosts Jacksonville in 2 weeks. They go into the bye happy, as you can see by Paul's face.
Absolutely.
With a 1-3 record. All right, so from Seattle, we go to unbeaten's falling, and we head to Vancouver, where the Minnesota Legend were riding high at 3-0, and they didn't do much in this game. Fast highlights here because there wasn't much to talk about. Christian Brown hits Chris Curtis. Curtis had more than 100 yards once again, but it was Vancouver, 3 sacks by 3 different players, putting all sorts of pressure on Minnesota throughout the night. Christian Brown up 7-0 to end the quarter, hits Brett Killian. Paul, he's still on 99 career touchdowns, 6 weeks running. Did not have a touchdown in this game. Christian Brown out to Robert Redford in the fourth quarter, scores. It's 20-3. Minnesota, up to this point, just didn't have anything going. 20-6. They desperately need to stop. Vancouver goes for it on 4th and inches and just gets across the line. And Vancouver just able to drain the clock on Minnesota in the fourth quarter. Wasn't the prettiest of games, but Vancouver got the job done. Robert Redford on the ground there. Christian Brown finds Brett Killian on a key 3rd down and 6. And that's the end of it. 23-13. Vancouver upsets Minnesota, and down go the Legend to San Diego, where we had a little bit more craziness and drama. Doug Britton from Eric Price puts Vegas up, now 7-3 late in the first quarter. Scar Patterson heads down the field, and that pass is caught by B. Robo, and that puts San Diego up 10-7. Now 13-13 in the third. Eric Price finds Mason Kirby for the score, just barely across the line. 20-13 Fury. Eric Price down the field, picked off. Zach Holdorf, he had 3 of these on the night, and that was a problem for Vegas throughout the evening. So for San Diego, more to come on that. Scar Patterson, Benji Matson, blanket coverage in the end zone, Paul, but didn't matter. Tied the game at 20.
And that's a beautiful catch there by Matson. What a throw to find your tight end there, back of the end zone. We're going to see here again, just get off the line, run the streak, and get your toe tap down. What a catch by Matson there.
Toe tap he did. Tied at 20, late third quarter. Scar Patterson's pass is knocked up in the air and intercepted by Merrick Itera, and this would start the wild and wacky fourth quarter between Vegas and San Diego. It was a mess out there. In this game, 944 combined yards of offense and 12 turnovers, 6 for both teams.
Wow.
And with 1 second to go in the third, Eric Price finds Doug Britton, because San Diego definitely couldn't find him. They were nowhere to be found. Doug Britton, I've never seen a receiver so wide open. He scores to end the quarter, makes it 27-20. Now 8 minutes to go. Price is picked off. Leon Thunderman, former #1 pick, with the pick. And what would San Diego do with it? Pseudo Nakai, touchdown, ties the game at 27. Back and forth we go. Vegas's next possession. Just kidding. San Diego. Patterson is intercepted. Sean Allen. This came after San Diego's defense picked off Eric Price again, but they couldn't do anything with it. Pseudo Nakai saves a touchdown. And but this was a huge play because San Diego looked like they were going to win the game on that drive.
What a perfect time. Again, we saw it earlier in the season with Las Vegas. Justin Razad getting pick 6 to win the game. So big interception there to try and take over and take the lead of this game.
No pick 6 to win the game in this one for Vegas because it was just too much of Doug Britton. Mason Kirby on that last catch, but Britton running a fade to the bottom of the screen. And again, who's guarding this guy? Doug Britton nearly 300 yards in this game, 34-27, last gasp effort for San Diego to avoid losing their first game of the season, and Scar Patterson gave it his all, as he's done all career long for him. The pass is intercepted, and Vegas wins 34-27. Ashley Jackson caught up with the Mavericks' Biff Markham after the game. Let's hear what he had to say about the Mavericks' first loss this season.
What is up, and welcome back to PGI. I am here with a good friend of mine, Mr. Biff Markham. He is the defensive end for the San Diego Mavericks, and catching up with him fresh off this loss to Las Vegas, 27-34. I was watching this game and you guys both had 6 turnovers. You guys held the ball way longer than Las Vegas, and you actually had more total yardage too with 500. Tell me, Biff, what do you think things kind of took a turn for you guys? And how do you see yourselves bouncing back for next week?
Well, thanks, number one, Ashley, for having me on.
Very welcome.
But yeah, to me, the big thing was our performance in the red zone, where we had some really key interceptions happen that when we should have been getting points and we turned the ball over. And then on top of that, we just had, some blown coverages there on Doug Britton that really hurt us. But I know we'll bounce back because I know that Charles will be probably working day and night now. So I feel sorry for you guys because you're going to catch it because we play you next because we have a bye next week.
Mhm.
So, so we'll be ready for you guys. But I know Eddie will have, we'll have you guys ready for us too. So it will be a fun game.
Definitely. It is definitely going to be a game to watch. Probably this game right here was known as it's probably one of the contenders for game of the year. If
Well, I hope
this
so.
wasn't, I'm sure ours will be. Can't wait to see what
Okay.
y'all got.
Okay.
All right, Cam. Thank you so much, Biff.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for being on, and I'll see you soon, okay?
All right. Well, you take care.
All right, you too. All right, Cam and Polly, back to you.
Thank you, Ashley. And San Diego off their bye actually plays Canton, which is going to be interesting, an interesting matchup based off of what both of those teams did this past week. Both of them on a bye this upcoming week. I want to go back to the Minnesota game because we didn't have a ton of highlights from that game, Paul, but Vancouver's defense has been excellent. They have given up 3 touchdowns in the last 12 quarters. They are in firm control of this Pacific Division. It is worth noting that if Portland wins tonight, they will be 2-2 heading into play Vancouver next week at 3-1. That'll be a huge divisional matchup. But this Minnesota team, they kind of seem flat, Paul. After 3 weeks of just dominating performances, it almost felt like they had gotten up so high for Sioux Falls to try and win that big divisional game. I don't want to call it a trap game because Vancouver's a very talented team, but they just didn't seem like they wanted that one as much as Vancouver did.
Sure, and like you said, Minnesota, they've been impressing everyone so far this season. 3 weeks just showing absolute domination, but to only put 13 points up after everyone, there were a bunch of people saying that Minnesota might be the second best team in the league. Well,
Yeah.
they needed to go out and they needed to go out and prove why they were the second best team. And unfortunately, we didn't see the same Minnesota offense that we've seen the past 3 weeks. Just a tough game for them all around.
Colin Hart, in a game where they were down by just 1 or 2 scores pretty much the whole day, 5 carries for 5 yards. What's going on with that?
Wow.
Vancouver's run defense has been exceptional. They shut down BDG Hollywood last week, and that Atlanta team is a top 5 team in the league right now. So it's interesting because you don't expect Vancouver to hit you with a bunch of defense. It's always been the high-flying Legion, Robert Redford, Brett Kelly, and all that stuff, but this team has a bit of a different identity this season. They are very defensive-oriented, and they're playing well. Now to Vegas, getting that win. I've never seen a team, Paul, personify a city more than this Vegas team does. I mean, they are just – it's insane. They are so – high risk, high reward. They bet the farm every single play. They know if they turn the ball over, they have the odds are they're going to turn you over. They always just play. It's like when a big storm is coming and everyone rushes to the store, right? And everyone's just going through all the aisles, grabbing all the toilet paper and everything. That's how Vegas plays. It's pandemonium. We got to do everything right now, and it's led to Eric Price throwing 16 interceptions in the first 2 games, but Vegas or first 3 games, but Vegas is 2-1. Like, that's crazy.
Then that just shows their defense. The high risk, high reward. Again, it shows that it possibly can work. Again, they're 2-1. They're squeaking by some of these games, getting victories. Again, if you're gonna send it deep 3 out of 4 times, why not? If you're gonna prove that you can do it. Again, when you can send your defense out there and know that you're going to get the ball back, as we've seen this season, that just shows that Las Vegas, they might be on to something here.
Yeah, Day Drury, Sean Allen, they're playing out of their minds defensively, and of course Max Jackson and Marikai Terra are always doing their thing. So the question is, Paul, both teams are 3-1. Both teams are still in pretty good shape, but who should be panicking more after what they saw in their loss?
As far as who should be panicking more, I'm going to have to say Minnesota, Cam. Not that Minnesota's a bad team, but again, after playing almost perfectly for 3 weeks, to then come out and only put 13 points up, is this the real Minnesota offense we're seeing? Or is the real offense the dominating performances week after week? As far as them panicking, they do have a little bit of a tough couple games coming up. I believe they have Florida after their bye week. So again, depending on what happens this game, if Florida's 0-4, I would not want to go up against an 0-4 Florida team hungry for a win.
Yeah, cornered animal game, right? They're not going to allow themselves to to lose anymore. And yeah, if I'm Minnesota tonight, I'm big Florida fans because I want them feeling better about themselves before I play them again.
That could hurt too, though, Cam. If they get some confidence going, again, it's going to be a tough game. Again, Minnesota, Florida, two of the more successful teams. I know we've only seen one season so far of Minnesota, but they've been impressive so far.
You can never count Florida out. San Diego, Paul, I've seen lulls out of this team. I think sometimes they've got so much talent that I think sometimes they get bored. They I don't want to call it like the Baltimore Vultures are a totally different sign of boredom sometimes, but the San Diego team sometimes they get a little sloppy with it. They got a little sloppy with it against Motor City. So they really need to clean things up. Vegas, that's part of their identity. I don't think San Diego necessarily wants that to be a part of their identity. They want to clean this defense up, and they want to play. I don't think they really want to play that style. They want to keep the ball in their hands and get it to their talent. Dave Axis did stay healthy this week, so that's a positive there for San Diego.
Absolutely.
But if I was the Mavericks, that's what I'd be worried about. Okay, so from teams that from undefeateds that fell, how about undefeateds who took care of business? Let's go to maybe. There we go. Jacksonville and Atlanta. The Atlanta Swarm wearing their Atlanta Hawk throwbacks, and look at BDG down the sideline. He is a menace. Jacksonville was in town, 2-1. This is the 18th all-time meeting. Remember, Paul, we were talking about who's met more times than Houston and Mexico City. Well, Atlanta and Jacksonville have met the same amount of times. Bryant Dynasty to Boo Chisholm in the back of the end zone, and Atlanta goes up 10-0. The Hive is buzzing. Second quarter. More Atlanta offense. Bryant Dynasty out to Siege. Falco, poor tackling there by the Kings. Young Vaught saves a touchdown, but Atlanta was all over the Kings early and really didn't give O.J. Bruin any room to breathe. 3rd and goal. BDG can't get in. That's what helped keep Jacksonville in the game with some of these red zone stops. Atlanta settles for a field goal to make it that. Oh, no, wait, it's blocked. Oh. Jacksonville gets a double stop, and all of a sudden the Kings have a little bit of momentum, but they did nothing with it, Paul. 3 and out after the blocked field goal. Next possession. BDG Hollywood. Oh, somebody got their ankles busted. Touchdown. BDG been doing that his whole career. Another look at it.
That's BDG Hollywood doing BDG Hollywood things. That's all this is. Again, ooh, look at that juke. Cooked them, and then nothing but field in front of them.
Cooked them, burnt the edges, all sorts of stuff. 17-0 Atlanta all over Jacksonville. Sean Sanders with a spin move. He had a great game. This rookie really starting to step up for the Kings, nearly 100 yards on the ground.
And after working with and seeing Sean Sanders progress in Lexington, what a game from him to come out here and try to, down 17, to try to fight back and give your team a chance to win.
Just before the half, Bruin back in the end zone. Joseph Budet. I feel like we call his name every single week on
every
this program.
Week, Cam.
He scores another touchdown, but the extra point was blocked. 17-6, jump ball. Go up and get it. Yeah, exactly. Paul and I are so on the same page. It's crazy.
Locked in.
Jamal Wooding with the touchdown made it 23-6.
We're gonna see here again. Look at Jamal Wooding go up and grab it. Quarterback throws it up. Yup. He knew as soon as he jumped that he was coming down with that.
Right over Bernard Gooden. Now, Bryant Dynasty gets hurt on this play. He would re-enter the game, but it was 27-9 at that point. Jacksonville gets another field goal, 27-12, 3 minutes to go. Bryant Dynasty, you have to throw the ball. You have to throw the ball. Bryant, you have to throw the ball. Well, not over there. Intercepted. And under 3 minutes to go. Look at the blocking all the way down the sideline. And the Kings down to the 1 yard line. And you're thinking, oh boy, here comes the comeback. But on 1st and goal from the 1, Paul, they threw an incompletion. 2nd and goal from the 1, incompletion. 3rd and goal from the 1, incompletion. Just run the ball. On 4th and goal from the 1, Jacksonville does this. O.J. Bruin sacked. And Atlanta goes to 4-0, drops Jacksonville for the 2nd straight week. They're 2-2. Motor City and Arizona. Christopher Dean with the touchdown. Motor City had the early lead 7-3 over the unbeaten Scorpions. 2nd quarter, Jackson out of the shotgun. Fires it down the field, intercepted. King Rashid with 8 picks in 4 games.
Wow.
He has been ridiculous for this V8's defense. Now 3rd down and 10. Off the interception. Ibrahim Krieta right down the sideline. Pretty ball to Orain Darby, who also got banged up in this game. 1st and 10. Next play. Krieta sacked. 4 sacks for Arizona in this one. That's Sean Moore bringing him down for a loss of 8. And he's fired up. Jackson, I don't know where she's throwing that. That ball is picked off. Right, yeah, exactly. Right to Motor City. Cain Vasquez with the interception. And the V8s are back in business. 3rd down and goal from the 5. Krieta, touchdown. Over the middle, Phil Koss with a one-hander right at the goal line. At this point, 17-3 V8s. Arizona had 0 momentum. The Scorpions do this. They lose to teams they shouldn't lose to. They did it last season. Would they do it in this one? Ashley Jackson going to make sure that they don't. Wide open, Connor Weston. That goes for 6.
Running in there to catch that ball in open field, to be able to just throw a defender off you, trying to tackle you and bring you down, to fight back, to tie it up to 17. And right before half cam, down 17-3, Arizona knew they had to turn on and kick it into a different gear.
After a fake punt fiasco tied the game for Arizona, then they throw that interception at the end of the 1st half. They throw this interception at the end of the 3rd quarter. That's 2 picks in the red zone for Motor City, leaving precious points on the board. 20-20, 2:22 left. Right over King Rashid's head. Ryan Owens with the touchdown. That was really the story of the game. King Rashid locked everyone down until he didn't.
And just, again, big-time players make big plays. And King Rashid, he's been making big plays all season. Just he couldn't make the big play with this play here, Cam. And unfortunately for Motor City, let up a touchdown. Got Arizona up 7.
But DJ Moses fumbles as Arizona's trying to ice the clock. This is after Motor City turned the ball over on downs. And all of a sudden, Motor City has one last chance. But, Paul, they squandered their late game chances badly. Motor City was unable to come up with the upset, thanks in part to Parker Thomas. 2 picks in the 4th quarter of play, including that one. Arizona hangs on. And Ashley Jackson caught up with a very happy Eddie Gage after the game. That is not Eddie Gage, but that is.
Welcome back to PGI. And I caught up with Senior Eddie Gage. He is the coach and strong safety, Hall of Fame strong safety. Make sure I get that right. For the Arizona Scorpions, it just came fresh off a win of Motor City V8s. This is the first time in their franchise history that they are 4-0. Coach, Tell us, how do you feel and how did you get this win? Because this was a close game.
Uh, Team game, team effort. It took all of us. It took every member of this team to come up with this W. Our offense took a while to get going. First of all, credit to Motor City. They came to play today. They scouted us well, had a great game plan, took some chances. Those chances resulted in a couple of touchdowns, but it also resulted in some plays to get that defense off the field. So shout out to Drew, really, and that coaching staff over there. They did a phenomenal job preparing for us this week. But in the end, our defense helped win us this game. Our offense made plays when we needed it. DJ kept the drives alive with the run game. Shout out to the offensive line, the Red Sea. They did enough to keep the chains moving. Ashley hit receivers deep when necessary, and we got the job done, and on to the next. But shout out to Motor City. They did their thing this week.
Next game for the Arizona Scorpions will be the London Knights. So, Coach, how do you plan on tackling that one?
Rematch from last season in the playoffs. I'm sure they want that get back. This time it's in our house, but can't take them lightly. They won 11-1 last season. They're off to a bit of a slower start this season, but they put up 48 points against Vegas, who tends to give us a hard time. So I know they're going to come with their A game, and I'm looking forward to the challenge. But right now, I just want to celebrate this win because my heart is still racing right now, Ashley.
Understood. Well, you go celebrate with the rest of the guys, and Cam and Polly, back to you.
All right.
Thank you, Ashley. A happy Eddie Gage is always better than an unhappy Eddie Gage. And Arizona and London will be the SFL's return to Next Level Sports this season. That is Saturday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. That's a huge game. The two teams going in opposite directions at the moment. We haven't gotten yet to London's meltdown in the fourth quarter against Canton, but either way, there's going to be a lot riding on both of those teams next week. In Arizona, it was sloppy. Ashley Jackson completed less than 50% of her passes, Paul, but good teams get the job done. And at the end of the day, no one's going to remember that Motor City was up 17-3. They're only going to remember that Arizona was 4-0 to start the season for the first time in franchise history.
And Arizona coming in and getting it done. Again, a team that's that good that they're going to go in and they, not that they will win, but know that they have a good chance to win. It's nice to see Arizona challenged here with Motor City. So Motor City, shout out to them. They came out and played their hearts out, just couldn't get it done. And again, I know Ashley does a great job with all these interviews, Cam, and it was nice to see someone from Arizona instead of seeing the upset interview of the team that Ashley beat, because I know she takes pride in doing that.
Yeah, it's always nice to see the Scorpions represented, even if it's not Ashley. And so they take care of business. Atlanta takes care of business. As we talked about, they got a bye before they play Sioux Falls next week 6 on Impact Monday. So a lot of time to think about that matchup with the Sioux Falls Sparrows and revel in their 4-0 start. Let's get to this matchup tonight. Florida and Portland. Paul, here are some of the headlines we are watching this evening. Art Vandelay is returning to Portland. He's been in Florida for a couple of seasons, but he spent his first 3 as a member of the Fleet. Now, Florida's the last time they went to Portland was their inaugural season, which I can't believe, Paul. When I was looking up the notes for this game, Portland, this is their 6th season? It feels like Portland was just here just yesterday. They just got here. I cannot believe it's been 3 years now that the Fleet have been in this league, and that it's been 3 years since Florida was at the Shipyard, at Evo 9X Stadium. It's been a long time since they've come here, and it's Art Vandelay's first time back in his old stomping grounds. Ron Cochran needs 268 yards tonight to become the 3rd quarterback ever to pass for 45,000 career yards, joining Hall of Famer Matt Wilson and likely soon-to-be Hall of Famer Julian Tyree, who has an opportunity to pass Matt Wilson this season for passing yards. It's all love in their world, Paul. Ezekiel Love has 90 touches this season. The rest of the team has 58 targets, and they haven't done much with them, just 38 touches. I don't know if they need to get the whole team going more, or if Ezekiel Love just has to be more efficient, but that's something to watch out for tonight. And then will new records be set? We asked the question because there were plenty of records set the last time these two teams met in Portland. It's still Florida's largest margin of victory, 31-0, and it's Portland's only home shutout ever. And they're looking to score more points against the Storm tonight. Of all these storylines, which one intrigues you the most, Paul, as we set the stage for tonight's Impact Monday game?
It's got to be that Ezekiel Love stat, Cam. Again, you have 90 touches this season, and as far as targets, the rest of the team only has caught the ball 38 times. Again, maybe Ezekiel Love has to be a little more efficient, like you said, but I think you got to get the rest of the team involved. So I'm excited to see what type of offense we will see tonight from Portland and even from Florida. Again, Florida's 0-3. They don't want to go 0-4. Again, Florida's a proven winner. They know how to win games. So Florida's got to come out strong against Portland, and Portland has to do the same. Both these teams need wins tonight.
So Baltimore had a bye. At least, Paul, we don't have to watch them bludgeon some team on some highlight reel this week. But they got a chance to sit and watch the rest of their competition in their division play. Charleston, who we have not seen yet. Carolina, D.C., haven't seen them yet either. But what is that Atlantic division looking like? And that's what we look at next. Alamo City taking on D.C., the Dragons. 3-0 all-time against this artillery franchise, but it was all Alamo City early. Brad Jones, this guy has been one of the most underrated free agent acquisitions this season, Paul, and he got the artillery off to a hot start.
And again, we've seen what Brad Jones can do, and he is proving time and time again here, especially this season, that he can handle the workload, he can score, he can put the spin cycle on defenders, he can throw defenders off of them, right into the end zone, game after game.
7-0, late in the first quarter. Shabazz Synergy at this point did not have an incomplete pass. Hits Mike Churchill down to the 31-yard line, was 9 for 9 before they got Kevin Say going. And that ended up being the story today, not Brad Jones. As Kevin Say gets a couple of big blocks down the field, he's gone. And the DC Dragons tie the game at 7 apiece. Synergy to Lauren Percoco over the middle to start the second quarter, and the Dragons take a 14-7 advantage over Alamo City. 14-10 now, late in the first half. More Kevin Say, more great blocking. Just a terrific job by the Dragons all day long on the ground. They take a 21-10 advantage. The fireworks are exploding. More Kevin Say. First down, pickup of 16 to the Alamo City 25. DC settles for a field goal, 24-10. Ace Fennick down the field, picked off by John DeSantis. I feel like there's more DeSantises in the league. Anyway, DC recovers the fumble. That was dangerous because that would have kept it a two-score game late in the third, but instead they settled for a field goal. Alamo City had 3 plays of offense late in the third quarter. In that third quarter, never really had the ball this whole game. Ace Fennick hits Ziggy Hronik down the field. They had to settle for another field goal. Made it 27-13. They just couldn't get it going after that first drive.
Yeah, DC just DC didn't want to go down to 1-3. Again, they are showing why they made the playoffs last season, and they're showing why they're a higher level tier of team here in the SFL.
Jason Bourne with a sack late. He had 2 in the game, forced a fumble, and DC took care of business 30-13. How about another team in the Atlantic Division taking on a Southern opponent? Carolina hosting Fort Worth. Skyhawks trying to get above 500 for the third time in their franchise history. You heard that correct. That's not a lot. Robert Garrett Jr., the Cowboy, gets Fort Worth started off strong, but Lincoln Kingseed stepped up for the Skyhawks secondary. Down 7-0, returns it all the way into Fort Worth territory. J.Z. Bacon had to run him down, and Marcus Dunhill, well, he's upset on that sideline. Puts his hands on his hips and says, I can't believe I just did that. Ike McBride just did that. Tie game at 7 in the first quarter. McBride near 100 yards and had the one touchdown on the day. Tied at 10 late in the first half. Look at the arm on Matt South. Hits Heath McDaniel Jr. wide open down the field. Carolina would have to settle for a field goal. 13-10 in the third. Jay-Z Bacon is out of control, but look at Lincoln Kingseed. The hustle all the way down the field. Didn't make the tackle, but Kingseed just showing a bunch of effort. Davidson Joseph ends up making the stop for Carolina, but Bacon, damage done. Nice run.
Yeah, Jay-Z Bacon just trying to trying to retake the lead here for Fort Worth. Again, what incredible athleticism by the defenders to chase him down to stop them at the 2-yard line.
Third and goal at the 2. Bacon finishes the drive he started, and Fort Worth at this point had a 17-13 lead in the third. But the game was never the same after that. Matt South hits Chase Earl, and the Skyhawks take a 20-17 lead. Next possession, Marcus Dunhill is picked off again by Lincoln Kingseed, which gives Carolina a short field. What would they do with it? Well, Matt South to Harish Prasad, who gets laid out. Don't care. Back of the end zone. Carolina up 27-17. Next, Fort Worth possession. Just 20 seconds later, Dunhill is picked off by Monte Wyatt. His first career pick six, 34-17. And Carolina would end up rolling 34-23. Now, to the big upset in the north. London and Canton scoreless in the first quarter. Robert Redford scores and gives London a 7-0 lead. Early on in this game, didn't really seem like Canton had a lot of juice. 10-0. Cameron Curtis, Kendra Wells, there's your juice at the end of the first quarter. And Canton, that helped keep them in contention of this one. This was even better. From the 3-yard line, Johnny Pickler running no huddle is intercepted in the back of the end zone. Keep an eye on those red zone picks. Bob Funk, once again, makes a big play in the end zone for Canton. Remember, he had the game-sealing interception in the end zone against Motor City just last week. Connor Darien picks off Pickler in the end zone in the third quarter. That's twice now. And all those empty possessions in the red zone for London was keeping Canton in the game. Pickler to Vin Calia late in the third quarter. That pass is hauled in. Funk on the tackle. London had to settle for 3, 16-7. 8:40 to go in the fourth quarter. Pass hauled in from Curtis in the back of the end zone for a score. That's Kendra Wells again. 16-14. 6 minutes to go in the fourth. Curtis to Wells on a second and long after a sack. Keeps the drive alive for the Classics. Cameron Curtis again. Caught. Down to the 41-yard line. That's my twin screw. Sets up a 50-yard field goal for the lead. Rob Ems doesn't have it. And this was the theme of the day, Paul. Over and over and over again, it seemed like Canton had its shot to do something with it, but it just wasn't enough because nope, there's a fumble. Another opportunity for the Canton Classics. I mean, London just in the fourth quarter, Paul, they just kept giving them opportunities.
Yeah, and great job here by this Canton defense to turn the ball over, down 2 points. You got to make something happen, and this Canton Classics defense just really stepping up to help them in this game.
Funk forced the fumble. Curtis flips it out in an attempt to respond. Canton only needs 3 to take the lead, but this was an expert drive from Canton Curtis and this Classic offense. Another completion over the middle for the Classics. That's Jack Wall, gets him a first down. Now first to go with the 7 with 2 minutes to go. Forget the field goal. Robert Johnson, who had been struggling all day long, scores for the Classics and puts them ahead 21-16. Last shot for London on the Canton 46. 90 seconds left, and they fumble again. It's recovered by Gary Clem, and the Canton Classics pull off a monumental upset. They now lead the North with a 2-2 record. I need some more bread in my life. Ashley, take it away.
What is up? And we are back with PGI. And we have Mr. Alex Bread, of course, the director of.
You're gonna get it right this time, Ashley.
Yeah,
Last
I
time
know.
you didn't.
Yes, I am.
You'll get it.
Director
You'll
of
get
Communications
it.
for the Canton Classics. And they
Mhm.
fresh off a fantastic win over London. I have one question for you, Brett. How
Mhm.
did this win feel for the team, for you, and the city of Canton?
Oh my God, this one felt great. I mean, coming into this game, I mean, I had high hopes for Canton, of course, and they met my expectations and more. I mean, I thought that we could beat London, but like with, I guess I thought it'd be easier for some reason. I know that London is usually a tough opponent, but I do have like really high like standards for the team. So, but it was really like a nail biting kind of thing, and it was really fun to watch as like a fan and all that, and be having my honorary player being called onto the field, the punter. But um, yeah, it was quite fun all around because I got to see everyone perform, and for the team, it felt great because this win was we really needed this win going into the bye week, and it's really um it's really good knowing that we actually got the win.
Awesome, awesome. Well, good luck to you guys for the rest of the season. Of course, unless you're playing Arizona. But
We played you already.
you did. And I wish you the best, Fred. See you soon.
Thank you.
Very
Okay.
welcome. All right, welcome back to PGI. And I am joined with Mr. Chris Porter. He is the defensive coordinator as well as defensive end for the Canton Classes. Big win for you guys over London. Congratulations, coach. How you feel about that?
Well, I feel good. It was a good, second half they had us, but we came back and had a couple of defensive plays, kept our team in the game. So I'm excited. We 2-2. Like last season, we was 0-4. So we barely made the playoffs this year. So I feel like at least we're off in a better footing to get in the playoffs this season.
Indeed, indeed. One question for you, coach. As defensive coordinator for this game, what did you guys concentrate on the most when planning for London?
Yeah, that's I can't really disclose that because we play them again.
Oh.
So I don't want to talk too much. That's why I was like, we play them again, right? Yeah, we play them again. So I can't really say too much. But what I will say is I think that is actually the mistake because I don't think they have too many weapons to focus on one thing. So me personally, I looked at all their weapons and I just thought, okay, what can they do with all these weapons? That's pretty much I know anybody that's a defense coordinator, that's pretty much what I do with all my teams. I look at the whole team and I think about instead of just one weapon because they got too many. Like if I would have just thought about Merrill, then Pickler would have went off. So you can't just. They got too many receivers. They got a good offensive line. They got a good running back. So I had to take all that in account. So I kind of did like that, but I don't want to say too much. So we still playing them again, and they might be listening.
Good deal, coach. Good deal. Thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate it.
All right. Whoop, whoop.
All right. Back to you, Canton.
Cannon Pride. I'm supposed to say Cannon Pride or something. Cannon Pride. We are classics. My bad.
Good deal. Good deal. You got good. I'll cut it so it'll make sense.
All right.
Here's what I love about that whole segment, Paul. I said in the highlight by mistake, Canton Curtis. I guess I don't want people sharing my name. I don't know what that is. But then Ashley, I swear, it was not planned. Then Ashley says at the end of the video, she says back to Canton instead of back to Cameron. So we're doing all sorts of mix-ups here tonight. But the takeaway from the game there was that Canton controls their destiny in the North. London is 1-2. Queen City's 0-3. Motor City's 1-2, or 1-3 rather. So this Canton Classic team, not used to being in the driver's seat, especially after they started 0-4 last season.
Sure.
So the question is, Paul, can this team make the playoffs? They finished 6-6 in their inaugural season, it wasn't enough. What do you see for their future right now?
So as far as what I've seen so far is that their defense has been playing great. Again, 8 interceptions, 23 passes deflected, and only allowing 71 points through 4 games. Defense is playing great. That leads me to the offense, Cam. You have superstar talent all over the field, but you've only scored 61 points so far in 4 games. The offense has to get it going. As far as the rush game, it's been bad, to say the least. To be outrushed by your former fullback, Chris Comistack, so far in this season, again, you got to get the run game going. That'll open up the pass game for Kendra Hall, Mike Twinscrew, Al Dillapre, Jack Wall. Again, you got to get the run game going for Curtis to start kind of finding the holes in the defense to move the ball and score more points. Again, you got a -10 net points in your division, but to lead the division, that's an exceptional accolade so far this season. But Canton has a bye week here in week 5. They come back, they're playing San Diego, Las Vegas, and then Mexico City. That's 3 really tough teams, Cam. Again, going into your final bye week 9, Canton could very well be 2-5. I think they'll steal one of those games, but as far as if they'll make the playoffs, I think they might lose the lead to London, and I think Canton will just barely miss the playoffs, and I guess there's a lot of season left, Cam, so a lot of games to be played.
They're going to be big Arizona fans next week, because if London loses again and drops to 1-3, that's going to be really interesting. But, to your point, you got San Diego on the schedule. That's always a tough opponent, or has been recently. Vegas is a tough game. And I like what you said about their offense, because when you talk about San Diego and Vegas, you talk about teams that can light you up. And if they get in a track meet with those teams, that's not the way that Canton wants to play. Now, the good news for the Classics is that their defense is elite and has been playing that way through the first 4 weeks of the season.
Absolutely.
Maybe they know how to shut down Scar Patterson and Doug Britton and some of these weapons. I really liked what the team did this past weekend. They really pumped up Robert Johnson for that game-changing touchdown late. He's really been struggling. I would say that Rojo has not had his mojo to start the season, and I think that could maybe give him a boost of confidence heading into the coming weeks, and we'll see if Canton can get that offense clicking a little bit better. They have to feel pretty good considering where that offense is right now, being 2-2 and atop their division.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get back to the highlights. It's Indy and it's Louisiana. And it's Ryan Roosevelt. Is anybody going to stop this guy? Every week, this dude is balling for 200 yards. He came into the week leading the league in receiving yards and touchdowns and receptions, and he had another big game. Randy Squarebush had a bigger game. Louisiana ties the game at 7, and the men are doing work up there in that end zone. Beautiful stadium that Louisiana has. Second quarter, Tommy Utah, handoff to Cameron Collier. Indy got hit in the mouth in this game, Paul. I mean, Louisiana, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, Indianapolis, they put a beating on Seattle last week. So, again, trying to get another win here and get to 3-1. But Louisiana here, they had some other plans.
Squarebush with 94 yards up to that point. Tommy Utah hits Liam Hammer. Utah had a QBR of 140 in this game, and the Revolution take a 14-7 advantage at Stack Up Stadium. Next possession, Utah with an empty backfield, backed up in his own end with a deep drop, finds Hammer. Liam Hammer gets free. Rockefeller trying to catch him, can't. 21-7. That's what we're used to seeing out of Indy, but it was Louisiana on this night wearing their Cadillac black uniforms in honor of the late Leonard Butler Sr. Ryan Roosevelt scores a touchdown, and Indy hits him right back. Pew, pew, pew. 21-14. This was a good one, but in the fourth quarter, Tommy Utah and the Louisiana Revolution wore out the Ramblers after Chad McDevitt gets this interception, which looked like the turning point for Indianapolis. But it turns out that it wasn't. Ryan Roosevelt trying to keep him in the game. Mike Ryan saves the touchdown late in the third quarter. But they only get a field goal out of it. Randy Squarebush scores a touchdown, stands tall, walks it in, 28-17. Fourth quarter, looking for Ryan Roosevelt, Paul. And this time, Rolliman Hood gets the better of that matchup. Actually, Evan Arthur, rather, with the interception.
What a great interception there again. You know, Ryan Roosevelt has been on that same route. He's been eating defenses up all season. So it was a great time for an interception for Louisiana to try and bleed this clock out and try to hold on to this 11-point lead.
Squarebush with the first down. Tommy Utah with another catch. This was kind of the difference in the game, Paul, because it was all Ryan Roosevelt for Indianapolis, but it was all balanced for Louisiana. Tommy Utah, Randy Squarebush, John Michael Sudduth, Liam Hammer, all those guys making things happen. Last highlight of the night, Mexico City was in Charleston. They got off to a hot start, actually chose to receive the football, and Jordan Sipe hits Ray Bentley for the score. 7-0, Kentez Johnson trying to put a miserable last couple of weeks behind him, and his pass is down the field to Davius Reed. But on a 3rd down and 1, they have to settle for 3. Saren Storm knocked in the backfield by Gerard Brody. Charleston, that was the theme of their night, settling for 3 all night long. That's not going to help. Gerard Brody off the deflection gets the interception, with Mexico City up 7-6, the pair of field goals for the Predators. And on 3rd down and 2, Phoenix Jones gets a first down, and that was the name of the game for the Aztecs much of the night. Just scratch and claw for every piece of yardage you can get. Jordan Sipe to Jason Bartley, and eventually Mexico City would punch it into the end zone. Sipe, Nick Lockett scores 14-6. Now in the 3rd quarter, Kentez Johnson 3rd and goal, sacked, can't get touchdowns. Dan Tritz with the takedown. Mexico City getting 6, Charleston getting 3 in the red zone. That pass on 3rd and long, not going to cut it for Charleston, down 17-12. What'd you think of this decision, Paul? They did have all 3 timeouts, 2 minutes to go. They decide to punt.
Hey, you're just putting trust in your defense here, and if you get them possession on the 1-yard line, then your punter does the job. Special teams did its job. But again, I like the call to try and trust your defense. It's just up to the defense to pull through and get that stop, Cam.
Which they did not, and the punter didn't get him pinned down either. It went into the 20. It hindsight's 20/20, but it blew up there on the Predators, and they fall in another tough, close loss, 17-12. Mexico City now in a 3-way tie for the South at 2-2 with Alamo City and just with Alamo City. Fort Worth and Houston are both 1-2, and we'll see them next week. Just check on the sheet. We've got Mike O'Neill coming up next. But first, Paul, a wrap-up from your perspective on week number 4. What did you feel like the main theme was of the week, or something that you can take into future weeks saying, hey, I feel like I got some confidence in this. I feel like I got a handle on this.
As far as what I have what I or anyone else in the league has a handle on, you got Baltimore up there. Again, they had a bye week. Everyone's chasing Baltimore. Arizona, they want a rematch of last season's championship match. They're playing good. Again, Minnesota, San Diego fall, but you still have Atlanta that's undefeated. And again, they got a bunch of good players in Atlanta. Again, the top teams are still essentially the top teams. It's all the matter of knocking those top teams off, Cam.
I gotta agree with you, Paul. It does feel like Baltimore and everyone else. Interesting slate of games on Saturday. You've got that Arizona-London game at 6:30, but the matinee on Saturday is all the Atlantic teams playing each other. You have Baltimore taking on Charleston. You have Carolina facing D.C. So that block right there is going to tell us a lot about the Atlantic Division, and if anybody can keep up or has a shot at the Baltimore Vultures this season from that division. All right, we're ticking down the final minutes of our this week in the SFL pregame. Florida and Portland are coming up next, and Mike O'Neill has a game preview, and I promise this will actually be the game preview of this week. Let's take a listen.
Thank you, Cam and Paul in the booth. Always a pleasure working with you guys. Monday night is here. Mike O'Neill here. Going to go over some matchups to watch tonight. We've got Portland traveling into Florida to take on the Storm tonight. Both of these teams have been struggling offensively this season. 25th in the league is Florida, and 22 in the league is Portland in total offense. We're going to talk about Florida for a second. Ron Cochran's 25th in the league in passing touchdowns. He's got 4 touchdowns, 9 interceptions on the season. So it's pretty cut and dry what Portland's got to do here coming into this game. They've got to get pressure on Cochran. So that's going to be my first matchup to watch. I want you guys to watch linebacker Khalil Thomas and defensive end Robert Brar against the offensive line of Florida. That is going to be Portland's key to success tonight, their key to victory. If they can get pressure on Ron Cochran and force him into continuing to make the mistakes that he's made this season so far, Portland's going to walk away with a victory. Let's talk about the other side. If Florida wants to take this one home, just like we said, Cochran's got to play smart, which means they've got to get Boletsky the ball, because this season he's only had 41 carries for 139 yards. He's averaging just over 3.5 yards per carry on the season, and that does not sound like Boletsky. So Florida's got to figure out how to get the run game going. They've got to make an effort to stick with the run and don't resort to the pass too quickly, because they haven't had much success in that department this season. And it's Portland's job to try and knock them off of that. So at the end of the day, both of these teams have a fair shot of taking this one home tonight. It should be a good one to watch. And if we're going to talk about the matchup to watch for Florida, I want you guys to focus on Boletsky versus that Portland defensive line and their run defense. Portland's got the number 3 run defense in the league right now, and Boletsky's going to have his work cut out for him. But Florida can take this away, and they can walk out with a victory if they get him involved and get his legs churning and keep him going. So we'll see what happens tonight. It's going to be a great game. Good luck to both of the teams, and we're going to send it back to Cam and Paul in the booth.
All right, Paul, you ready?
Absolutely there, Cam.
Let's do it. Florida and Portland coming your way next. This has been This Week in the SFL Week 4 edition, and Paul and I are right on the other side of this break for kickoff. Don't go anywhere. The show continues next here on Impact Monday.
Two receivers, Cooley top of the screen against Kenneth Lyons. Red Feather to throw. Red Feather going to the end zone. It is a touchdown. Cooley, the Bulldogs have the lead.
2 to the left, 1 to the right. In the backfield is Streeter with 1 more. Hand off Streeter, going to try to find a hole. He does. He's going to try to break another tackle. He does. Out to the 20. He's going to go for the pylon, and he's going to get in to the house. Reggie Streeter with his 4th touchdown scamper of the day gives Louisiana their first lead of the day.
You might want to look at Reggie Streeter with his 4th touchdown, but watch the block here. It looked like number 59 for the Vancouver Legion here was going to have the angle on him.
On the previous play, they represent the city of Broad Shoulders.
The player with railroads.
And the throw by Dunhill is complete to Jamal Wooding, and he scores the touchdown on the very next play. Touchdown, Atlanta.
Wow, Atlanta derails the Chicago defense on that play. He gets behind him.
Everybody let him go, and Maurice Burton was the only one back.
2 back. Marconi drops to throw, and no pressure on Marconi at all. The pass is picked off, and the receiver fell over. That's Koyama Shigeki, and he scores. Touchdown Legends on a pick six from Marconi. And the receiver fell over as he breaks for the football. Actually, Cooley thought he had a catch and was just trying to get his feet in bounds. And the Legends.
Second down and 6. Titan is down 4. Cantrell empty backfield, and Cantrell off his back foot. Touchdown! What a throw from Cody Cantrell to DR Sim. That was masterful.
I thought that for sure was going to be knocked away or picked off. Anytime you see any SFL quarterback scrambling out of the pocket, it's usually not a good sign, but DR Sim gets so wide open here that he has such a huge target there for
Step drop from Pickler over the middle. Another reception. Going.
Good
Had a big game last week, and he's off to the races. No one can catch him. Baltimore are cruising here in the first half. Touchdown Vultures.
And we just talked about it. Johnny could not afford the mistakes. That's his second interception thrown here in his first half. Alvin Mack, I've said it time and time again, every time I call their games, he gets sideline to sideline as well as any linebacker in this league. He takes advantage of a bad situation and turns it to 6.
They'll start off with no Jared McChesney, and Josh Miller will throw. Looking top of the screen, it's picked off right into the hands of Iverson Gamble. A great start for Arizona. Gamble chasing down to the sideline, and Jeremy Mosley prevents a touchdown. What a play for Iverson Gamble, the 7th-year corner, and what a start for the Scorpions.
Second down and 10, 3 receivers. Now they go to Parker on a stretch. Haven't seen that much of the night. Breaks the tackle, and then another, and he's down at the 1. He looked into me, honestly. Let's see the replay again. Parker breaks 2 tackles. Orlando's just throwing a little bit of everything at him tonight, and he's
3 receiver set. William Dula in the gun. William Dula to throw, firing deep over the middle. Has a man, Jalen Miller, past the defenders, 5, touchdown, Carolina. Jeff Duffy in the chat just now saying Carolina is never out of it. Don't count them out yet. Well, there you go.
Bombs away, boys. Here it comes. Down the seam, just running to go, and no one's going to catch Jalen Miller. He's the biggest receiving threat.
And Legacy both off to the right side. And Garcia will pass. Garcia's in trouble, avoids a sack, fires deep down the field. The pass is caught. What a catch in traffic. It's a touchdown. Daniel Garcia makes an incredible play, launches it down the field to Clint Myers. And Clint Myers a little upset that Studwell's getting all the love. Over the outstretched arms of A.J. Levy, and Myers gets the touch.
As the sun sets in Portland, we head into Evo 9X Stadium for a critical matchup tonight between the Florida Storm and the Portland Fleet here on Impact Monday. Alongside Paul Sarp, I'm Cameron Irvine, and we're ready to rock at formerly the Shipyard, still is the Shipyard, with the anchors in the end zone, and Ezekiel Love still anchoring the Portland Fleet. Ron Cochran anchoring the Florida Storm, but both teams don't want to become sinking ships after tonight. Paul, good evening. It's great to be here.
It's always a pleasure to be here, Cam, and we have some great football in store for us today. Again, Florida 0-3, trying to avoid starting off 0-4. Portland's 1-2 right now, trying to come in and stay hot and go to 2-2 in the Pacific Division. Cam, I'm excited to see some good football between these two teams and excited to see what's in store for us.
While these two teams have a combined 1-5 record, it's Art Vandelay coming back home to Portland. It's Ron Cochran chasing 45,000 yards. It's Ezekiel Love, and it's Bullet Valetsky. What more could you ask for here on Impact Monday? As Florida wins the toss, and they will defer to the second half. And we're about to get things rolling. We're going to take 2 minutes here. Give us just a second to set up for football, and we will be right back. I can assure everyone at home that no one has more tabs open than me tonight. More windows, more programs, but we're all set and ready to go now. The ball's on the tee, and the hand's in the air, and we're kicking it here on an Impact Monday. From the goal line, Leo Morris on the return for Portland, and past the 30, gets out to the 32-yard line. Cyrus Jive is your quarterback. Portland's in their blackouts tonight with the white numbers, blue and orange trim. Florida in their red alert away uniforms with the red helmets, white jerseys, white pants, the dark blue numbers, and the light blue and dark blue trim, red shoes. We're ready to go. 3 receivers for Cyrus Jive to start the football game. They'll hand it off to Ezekiel Love, and Love will pick up 5. And actually, Portland's going to go into the no huddle. They're not going to give us a chance to breathe to start this football game right away. Portland sees something in this defense. They're going to run it to Love again. That's a 3-yard gain. Do they have anything else in this formation?
And Portland looking like they're coming out fast here to start this game and looking to keep the tempo up.
Love, first down, 3 carries, but I don't think they have anything else here. This cannot end well if they don't snap out of it. 3 straight carries to Love for 13 yards to start. Carry number 4, a couple of good blocks. Ezekiel Love picks up 7. Rochelle Colston, Ron Haynes in our stats truck. They're getting worked early.
Absolutely. You're starting off fast.
7 yards makes it 2nd and 3. Love a 5th time in a row. First down to the Florida 41. Can't believe that worked out. And the Fleet are in business in Florida territory. Wow.
Ezekiel Love getting to work early. Again, I suspect we're going to see a lot more of Ezekiel Love during this game. And it's all going to be the matter of what Florida's defense can do to stop him.
2 backs and 2 receivers after 5 carries for 26 yards for Love. And can you believe it? They're going to give it to him again. He picks up 4. Before we get to the starting lineups, I want to shout out some super chats. Ethan Kai's super chat from earlier, his first of the year of $5 of how about those Nemesis, shouting out Seattle with their first win. And then DJ Woods with a $5 super chat. Can we get a This Is Why We're Moving to 4K 23 compilation video? Basically all the questionable stuff the AI does in APF at the end of the season. I think the SFL Pause Network may have that under wraps, but yeah, there's no shortage of footage apparently, especially this week after Love picks up another yard. So 3rd down and 4. We talked about Love's usage in pregame, Paul. 90 touches, the rest of the team 38. He has all 7 on this opening drive.
Again, Portland doing what Portland does. They're just riding the back of Ezekiel Love. Again, you got to get the rest of the team involved. And as we see Cyrus Drive completing the pass there.
Drive caught by Israel Adams. Moves the change to the 30. Your starting offense for the Portland Fleet includes Jive and Love in the backfield, along with Jacob Farmer, the fullback. Israel Adams, along with Benjamin Warner and Ryan Davis, are your receivers. Nelson Lozano Jr. is your starting tight end. Keep an eye on Randy Fatt III, Jaden Taylor, and Jay Warden on that offensive line, the best offensive linemen, some of the best in the league, as Love churns ahead for 8 yards, wrapped up by Andrew Francis and Ryan Tobin at the end of the play.
And this season so far, Cam, Florida's been a top 5 pass defense, near bottom rush defense. So Ezekiel Love, we might be in store for a big game from Ezekiel Love and Portland on the ground.
2nd and 2 with 8 in the box for Florida. Jive going to throw, and that pass is caught. That's Benjamin Warner's first catch, first target. 2 different receivers on the opening drive with a reception. This will be play number 11 coming up. Portland's eaten 4 minutes off the clock.
Just like Florida needs to do, Cyrus Jive needs to keep his turnovers low like he has all season so far. Again, he's a very accurate passer, and this drive alone is showing that.
First down for Jive. Fires outside. Adams caught. 6-yard gain down to the 8. Wrapped up by Adam Jones. Let's meet the rest of this Florida Storm defense. On the line, Dante Stoneville, Alessandro Tomaello, Alex Dominguez, your Hall of Famer and league-leading sacker, along with Pete Mitchell. Linebackers are Stephen Black, Ryan Tobin, Aaron Gooden. Secondary includes Ryan Davidson, Evan Carroll, Adam Jones, Adrian Blaine, Andrew Francis. All they do is score touchdowns. 2nd and 4 at the 8. Handoff not to Love. Instead, it's Love's backup in there as this drive has worn him out. That's Lonnie Wright with the carry. We'll set up a 3rd and 4 from the 7.
Speaking of Florida defenders, I have a few of them on Impact Watch tonight, Cam. Again, Ryan Davidson in a little early season slump. Last season, he was an interception machine. Not having as hot of a start this season as last.
Handoff, it's Lonnie Wright, and he's short of the sticks. And that's what happens when you become too reliant on one player, Paul. The drive stalls out because Ezekiel Love just didn't have any gas left in the tank.
Portland just riding Ezekiel Love all drive.
We're going to go for this.
And we are going to see a 4th down.
An interesting early test here for Florida's defensive front. And Cyrus Jive playing chicken will burn half the first quarter clock just to get 3 points, and Florida's got to feel like that's a victory. Timeout Jive, and we'll see Portland on to kick a field goal.
I like that call to try and test this Florida defense. Again, the defensive front showing tremendous discipline to not jump off sides. Again, you burn a timeout, but just to get 3 points here on this opening drive, I'm sure Portland is happy to get points on the board.
Joey Robb is the kicker for the Fleet. This drive, 14 plays, 63 yards. This being the 14th play, just 3 passes, but they were all completed. Florida holds in the red zone. 21-yard field goal for Robb is up and good, and the Portland Fleet have an early 3-0 advantage. Lola PR with the $4.99 super chat says, "Let's go Fleet. Jabu McSlim looks scary." So we have a McSlim quote fan in the chat. Cheering on the Fleet here tonight from Evo 9X Stadium. Thank you, Lola, for the super chat. Appreciate your support. Jack's data has Portland as 3.5-point dogs here at home, despite Florida being 0-3, trusting that the Storm will correct themselves as Optimus Klein gets it up to the 23-yard line. The over-under on this game tonight is set for just 48.5, in part due to drives like the last one for the Fleet.
And Portland Fleet doing a great job burning out that clock on that first drive. Again, taking a little over half of the first quarter. Again, if we're going to force these defenses to play, we're going to force them to play, Cam. And Portland defense getting first sight of them.
Cochran at the 23. Hand off to Beletsky. Beletsky only picks up one. Let's take a look at the Florida offense. It's Ron Cochran, Charlie Beletsky. Your receivers are Stephen Bush, Art Vandelay, E.J. Minson, and Optimus Klein. A very talented group. 5 all-star appearances between them. Tight ends are Veridin Zarkov and Ron Haynes. Your guards are your key to this line, while Portland focuses on the tackles. Finley James and Leroy James are your star offensive linemen for this Storm squad. That pass is dropped and intercepted.
Wow.
Dropped right into the hands of a defender, Shaba Debo. The tight end was the intended target, and Joseph Lama takes advantage.
If you get 2 hands on the ball with a chance to catch it, you've got to bring the ball in and you've got to catch the ball. Ron Cochran has been struggling with turnovers so far to start this season. And Portland picking them off again.
10th pick for Ron Cochran, chasing a major milestone tonight, but his season of struggles continues. That one not all his fault, or not any of his fault, really, as Love loses 3 in the backfield. And are we poised for a 14-13 game again here tonight, Paul? The defenses are out and about early.
Defense has been a big thing on Impact Monday the past few weeks. I'm not sure what we're going to see with this game. Defense is making an impact early.
2nd and 13 after the 3-yard loss. Handoff to Love. Love breaks through a Dominguez tackle. That's rare to see. But Blaine and Francis corral him after a 3-yard pickup to the 25. That'll set up a 3rd down and 10, still for the perfect jive.
And I'm sure that all week long that Florida was trying to come up with a game plan to stop Ezekiel Love.
So far, so good for Love. 40 yards on 10 carries. Jive to throw down the middle. That pass is tipped and intercepted. A inaccurate throw, quite frankly, there from Jive. And that's Stephen Black with the deflection. And, yeah, just as you said, Paul, another field goal coming up for Rob.
To get 3 more points on the board, I'm sure Portland will take any points that they can get against a strong Florida defense. We've seen Florida's defense play well season again after season. And just for Florida to come out and stop and hold Portland to only 3 points is a win in itself.
42-yarder for Rob. Man, he cranked that leg on that one. He had plenty of that. Looked like one of the... Have you seen that video, Paul, of the wind-up robots trying to figure out, like, what the longest field goal possible is?
I have. That's what he looked like right there. He might have been good from 68.
He did. That was crazy. What did that robot kick? Like some 90-yard field goal or something? Because you can bend the leg back all the way, right?
I could only imagine. Hey, we might be in for a 90-yard field goal tonight, Cam.
The science behind this game is just beautiful. It's a beautiful game. As Klein will return from the 3-yard line up to the 25. If you're new to the SFL, the Simulation Football League combines traditional sports, esports, and a role-playing game into one. Team strategies are being executed in real time by our simulations as real-life players compete on the virtual gridiron. For more information about the SFL, visit our website at simulationfl.net. The SFL, we put the fan in fantasy. All right, so first possession. Beletsky got 1 yard, and Ron Cochran's pass was incomplete, intended for Debo. Cochran this time will fire it out to Beletsky, and Portland all over that. Excellent stop there by Chris Stock. Let's meet the Portland Fleet defense. Up front, Robert Brouwer, Louis Negron, and Jabu McSlim, who we saw in the chat earlier. Linebackers, it's an interesting 4 linebacker look, Mel Davis, Joseph Lama, Brody Gulch, Khalil Thomas. In the secondary, Chris Stock, Derek Majors, Leo Morris, and Bernard Smith, Dale McClain in the back end of that defense. Cochran's pass caught by Minson. He's been a force. He's been the leading receiver of this Florida offense through the first 3 weeks. He picks up a first down. Their first of the game to the 35.
And as I mentioned earlier, in regards to Florida's defense, when we are talking about Portland's defense, in the league so far, they are the worst in regards to pass yards per game allowed, but top 5 in rush yards per game allowed.
Boletsky is wrapped up, and as you mentioned, that Portland rush defense has been really stingy. That's not a great matchup for Florida, who's struggled to get Boletsky going. They no longer have a star fullback back in that backfield, and I think the learning curve to get Boletsky going has been a little difficult. Second down and 11. Hand off to Boletsky on a trap up the middle. Picks up 5 and will set up a more manageable third down.
One thing about this Florida team, sure you want to get Bullet Boletsky going, and sure the rush offense hasn't been there this season. Their pass defense has been there. Again, a top-tier team in the SFL in regards to passing so far. Sure they're 0-3, but they sure do light it up in the air.
Cochran's pass is caught a little bit behind his intended receiver, but hauled in nonetheless to the Portland 46-yard line. That pass hauled in by Art Vandelay, gets a catch in his old stadium.
Returning home, Art Vandelay, like you mentioned, the pass a little behind him, but securing the ball and just securing the first down for this Florida Storm offense.
1:30 to go in a blazing fast first quarter, where we've only seen 2 stoppages of the clock in the frame. Handoff, Boletsky lost 2 yards, smacked down in the backfield. Brody Gulch with the major hit. That's already the 3rd tackle for loss for Portland of the first quarter.
Portland showing why they are one of the best rush defenses in this league. Great job to just down in the trenches, beat the offensive line, and bring the running back down.
Second and long, Cochran pump fake, now fires to the near side. That is ruled initially a catch for E.J. Minson. That's going to be close. See again.
That's a catch, Cam. From what I'm seeing, I don't think we're going to see a red challenge flag here.
Did he have possession? I think he did. Good job by EJ on the sideline. Second catch of the night. That picks up 11. He's got 16 yards now receiving. Cochran's up to 33. Tonight's 3rd and 1 at the Portland 38. Hand off to Bullet, and Bullet has the first down.
Enough.
Just enough. Tackled by Khalil Thomas, his first of the night. Florida's drive will continue.
We might be seeing early signs of when these teams last met, Cam. Last time these teams met, there was 418 total rushing yards between the Fleet and the Storm. And again, we're seeing tonight that these teams are looking to get down and run the ball.
Down and dirty in the trenches as Boletsky picks up 6 more, hops up after a brief delay, and can you believe it? That ends the first quarter. We have been sitting here for less than 20 minutes. Portland 6, Florida nothing. Wow. Maybe I can get to the restaurants before they close around here. We'll be right back. Alongside Rochelle Colston and Ron Haynes in the stat truck, Paul Sarp, I'm Cameron Irvine, Tyler Falk, and Chris Curtis awaiting patiently, maybe feverishly now, back at the SFL headquarters, getting ready for the halftime report, as we're already into the second quarter. J.W. Doyle with the catch will bring up 3rd and 2. Cochran, since the first incompletion, which went for an interception, he's now 5 for 5. Ron fires. Oh, it's picked off! Don't blame me now. Come on, chat. Don't. I can already see it happening. The fingers are working feverishly as
Oh,
Bernard
man.
Smith gets the interception.
What a read there by Smith. Again, just jumping up and Ron Cochran kind of telegraphing his pass there. It's just something you don't want to do, and you don't want to turn the ball over. Again, you've been troubled with them all season. You just got to play that smart football like you know. Ron Cochran just giving Portland another chance to put more points on the board.
Man, the turnovers continue to be very frustrating for Florida, but can Portland take full advantage of them? So far tonight, that answer has been no. Cyrus Jive's pass is dumped off to Ezekiel Love. He spins a couple times and picks up 4. That'll set up a 2nd down and 6. I knew it was going to happen, man. I mean, I brought it on myself.
Right on cue, too.
2nd down and 6 after the Love reception. Cyrus Jive fires it to the outside, caught by Warner. And Jive now 5 for 6 in the early going. 3rd and short coming up.
Last season, I watched Cyrus Jive complete 24 passes consecutively. And Cyrus Jive makes a living on these nice little out routes. You just find the open receiver, chip away to try to get the first down. And 3rd and inches. Let's see what we got.
It's Love, and it's a first down. And Ryan Davidson, not his finest moment. Let's put it that way.
Ryan Davidson trying to be the first to bring Love down, but Ezekiel Love, he only had a few words to say. He said, "You can't bring me down."
It was nasty with a capital N. 1st and 10 at the 43. Handoff to Love as 12th carry. Oh, he does it again! Was that Davidson again? Oh, my goodness. Ryan Davidson getting worked in the first half. This time we get to look at it again.
What a beautiful run. Ezekiel Love, one of the hardest to bring down. That is just a beautiful run by Ezekiel Love.
Man, oh man, Ezekiel Love. 13 touches, 59 yards in the first half. Eventually, Portland is going to have to find something else. But for now, it's Love putting in work to the Florida 38-yard line. Good enough for a first down.
Hey, if it is not broke, why fix it? Ezekiel Love just making things look easy.
You see there at the end of that play, Paul, how Florida is just flying all over the place. It's almost like, where's Waldo out there? I'm just throwing bodies at him left and right. Even though Love, the focal point, Florida just doesn't seem to have much of an answer. Love breaks a Davidson tackle. Love past the 10. Ryan Davidson worked on that drive, and Portland takes a 12-0 lead.
Ezekiel Love putting on a performance so far in this game, and we're going to see this run again. Look at just spinning off of him. Just, you can't bring him down. And then to top it off, when you have that amount of speed in a running back, just a great run, great play by Ezekiel Love.
Man, I haven't seen a half like this, I don't think, in SFL history, where one guy is just doing so much and doing it pretty effectively as well. I mean, you would think coming into the game, I know that Florida put in a game plan to try and stop this guy. It has not worked so far. 13-0. Portland Fleet with a $1.99 super chat. Hashtag all gas, no brakes. All love, no tackling so far.
That's what we're watching. Ezekiel Love just showing why he's one of the best in the league, and showing why, and showing how Portland's going to come out and try to win against an 0-3 Florida team. Just incredible performance so far.
The last time Portland played in this building against Florida, they scored 0. And they have 13 already here in this first half. Florida still has a 0 on their side and a 0 in their win column, and somebody needs to give them a shot in the arm. Because right now, they appear sluggish to start this Impact Monday. First down for the Storm. Ron Cochran dumps it off to a tackle eligible.
I was going to say.
And it's incomplete. The tight end's out due to fatigue off the kick return. This is a mess.
And not what we're used to seeing from Florida. Again, Florida just looking like they may not have been prepared for Portland with a question mark at the end of it.
2nd and 10 at the 25. Cochran going to try to put those rumors to bed. Play fake with pressure at his feet. Oh, what a beautiful pass. That's the Ron Cochran that we know and love. E.J. Minson hauls it in on the sideline, but an absolute dime from Ron after it looked like he was going to get rolled up on.
I'm going to say I think Ron Cochran must do yoga, because his balance there to keep his feet up and to stay standing to then throw a dime like that, I was surprised to see him not sacked there.
3rd down and 5 at the 30. That pass caught by Minson again. He ran backwards and he's short of the first down. He had it. And even after forward progress, it still looked like he had it. Be surprised if that was not challenged.
And very close call there.
Nope. Wow.
You're going to send out the punter.
I can't explain it. He just ran backwards. Missed an opportunity. I don't know if Minson was trying to turn some kind of corner on the sideline, but a waste of a drive there from the Storm, and Leo Morris returns it from his 22 to his 25-yard line. Liking the game so far? I know Portland is. Smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The SFL produces over 400 events a year. There's no one else that gives you more football. Don't miss a minute of SFL or SFLM action and help the channel grow through your support. Thank you for helping the SFL reach 10 years of operation through your viewership. Well, Love's had time to get some oxygen. 15 touches, 16 touches this half. 2 spin moves and a broken tackle down to the 31-yard line. Finally put down on the ground by Adrian Blaine.
To get past that line of scrimmage untouched with 2 moves, again, sure you're only getting 5 yards, but again, another incredible run by Love. It just looks too easy for him.
2nd and 5 at the 31. Jive under pressure. Actually, really nice job at the beginning of that play by the offensive front. Warren, Fat the third, and Taylor in pass protection, but Florida mixed things up there and got the pressure on Cyrus, just his 2nd incompletion of the night.
And I saw a Portland Fleet receiver. He was running a streak route. If Cyrus Drive had a little bit more time in the pocket there, that play might have been a different result, Cam.
3rd and 5 at the 31. Jive fires it outside. That's Warner. He is also short of the first down, and Portland will have to punt it away.
Both of these teams just can't. They're only missing these first downs by a few inches. They're right there. It's just not enough to keep moving the ball, moving the chains.
So Portland on to punt. This will be their first punt of the night after 3 scores on their first 3 possessions. Florida comes after it, nearly blocks. And Optimus Klein gets it out to the 31-yard line. Stay up late with us on Friday night for a special big game weekend double block of SFL action, all starting with a critical game in the South between Houston and Fort Worth. Action will run past midnight on the East Coast, ending with Motor City in Vegas for a talented showcase of rising teams. Games start at 8 p.m. Eastern next Friday, only on SFL YouTube. That double block on the West Coast starts 10 o'clock Eastern time. on Friday. No games on Super Bowl Sunday. First down and 10 for Cochran. He fires it outside, caught by Klein. Stack on the tackle. Lucky he wasn't called for a late hit. Pick up a 5.
And Cam, if we take away those 2 interceptions from Ron Cochran, again, he's not having too bad of a game. With that pass, he's going to be, without those 2 interceptions, he would be 8 for 9. Again, 51 yards. Just, we got to see Florida try to take a shot here and maybe possibly take a deep or throw the ball deep here.
2nd and 5 at the 37. Hand off to Beletsky, picks up 1. Beletsky now 12 yards on 7 carries, an opposite of Ezekiel tonight, and it's 3rd and 4. Florida is 2 for 4 on 3rd down. Portland 3 for 6. Halfway through the 2nd quarter, Cochran 3-step drop against a blitz. Fires it. It is incomplete, and the blitz effective for the Portland Fleet. Derek Majors in coverage, and Florida's got to punt again.
Man, when you have a guy like Derek Majors out there to play defense on these receivers, that's why you can send the blitz. And again, great call by Portland's defensive coordinator, just trying to get some pressure on Ron Cochran here. Again, he has 2 interceptions so far, so just trying to get the defense to the quarterback to maybe try and get him to throw his 3rd interception of the night.
Portland comes after that one, but can't get to it. Morris on the return from his 19-yard line, and really nice coverage there from the Storm. All things considered, Paul, this has been an ugly first. Oh, boy, and now they got an injured player. Ramel Hernandez is down for Florida. What else can happen to the Storm? What I was getting to, you can't call it a broadcaster's curse because I didn't finish my thought, but what I was getting to was that, Florida, despite an ugly first half, I mean, it's only 13-0. Their defense has done a pretty decent job despite Ezekiel Love's great first half, and it's kept them in it.
Sure, and to see Florida only down 13, the way this game's gone, they should be down by, I would say, 20. But Florida's defense trying to hang in there and stop Ezekiel Love. We're only 2 touchdowns scored from Florida away from Florida having the lead.
Love on the carry picks up 5. That is touch number 17 of the half for Love. And depending upon his usage on this drive, he could really be gassed in the 4th quarter if Florida keeps it close enough. This game could get spicy.
Again, performances like this from Ezekiel Love, he's used to getting the ball. He's used to being the workhorse.
Love again. Wide open on the outside. Love picks up 22. Oh, boy, here we go. No huddle again. Are they just going to keep running Love on this possession? 130 rushing yards for Love in the first half. Jive slow to the line. Gives everyone a little bit of a breather. 4.5 to go. Handoff Love. Running right this time. Florida stuffs him. No gain on the play. Wrapped up by Ryan Tobin, his 6th tackle of the first half. Now 2nd and 10. Love again. Makes a man miss. Picks up 2. They don't have anything else out of this. Are we doing this all night? 3rd and 8. It's got him 3 points on the first drive. Jive calling an audible. They do have something else out of it. Hit as he threw, and the offside is going to give Portland 3rd and 3. Goodness gracious. What else can Florida do to help Portland out in this first half?
Just nothing going Florida's way, and what a great job by Cyrus Jive to get the defensive line to jump off sides there, and just such a smart play and smart decision by Jive.
I agree with you, Paul. It's almost like Florida got caught off guard, that Jive audibled out of the play. Caught me off guard because I thought they were just going to hit Love again on the run, which they may do here on 3rd down and 3. Love, 19 carries in the first half for 136 yards. 3rd down and 3. Under 4 to go in the first half. Jive going to throw. One-handed catch is hauled in for a first down to the 42-yard line. Wow. Warner again.
a little bit of flash there to get that first down. That might have been the prettiest first down we've seen so far. And Warner just showing how easy it is.
Warner, 18 yards on 3 grabs before that catch. Now 22 for 4. Love takes another carry, picks up 7, draining this clock. We haven't even been sitting here for 40 minutes. We're almost to the half. Hernandez has a bloody nose. Get some Kleenex on it. Get out there. 2nd and 3. I say that because I've never had a bloody nose that is gushing. If you've ever had anything bloody that's gushing, it's not that easy. Hand off to Love, and short of the first down. Carried 21 of the. That's got to be a record.
He's on pace for a lot of carries here, and if Portland holds on to this lead, all they're going to want to do in the second half is just drain the clock. So. Again, Ezekiel Love, we may be in for a record-setting performance.
3rd and inches. 2.5 to go. Jive. Throwing to Love. Caught. Davidson misses another tackle.
Still.
His 4th of the half. And Love to the Florida 26-yard line.
Nobody on this Florida Storm defense can bring him down, and it is showing, Cam.
I don't know what's going on with Davidson. Yeah. He's one of 3 players who does not have a tackle for Florida, and he's missed 4 opportunities. The other 2 are Alex Dominguez and Pete Mitchell. Dominguez, a Hall of Famer, with nothing to show for it so far. 1st and 10 at the Florida 26-yard line. Love again. 4-yard pickup. Love making me feel like I wasn't hugged enough as a child. That guy is getting all the attention. 2-minute warning to go in the first half. 13-0 Portland. Yes, they still have the ball. Yes, Love still has it. This is Impact Monday on SFL YouTube.
I'll tell you one thing, Cam. I am impressed with how Portland has started this game. Again, holding Florida to 0 points still. Only 2 minutes left in the first half. Just great job all around from Portland.
Jive. Fires into the end zone. Touchdown! Wow. They lull him to sleep, and Nelson Lozano Jr. scores 19-0. Portland all over the Storm in prime time.
Nelson Lozano Jr. Cyrus Jive and Lozano Jr. connect often, and this season, again, Lozano is, other than Ezekiel Love, that catch there will put Nelson Lozano Jr. as the highest targeted player other than Ezekiel Love, with his 15th reception on the season. First touchdown of the season for Lozano Jr. as well.
Coming up on the APM Music Halftime Report, Tyler Falk, a.k.a. Lucky Charm, and Chris Curtis, a.k.a. Fuzzy Milk, bring you Portland, Florida halftime analysis, what Ezekiel Love means to this Portland offense, and a breakdown of the status of the East and Atlantic divisions. It's all coming up on the APM Music Halftime Report. 20-0 Portland on top.
What's their nicknames this week, Cam? What'd you call them?
Lucky Charm and Fuzzy Milk.
Oh, man. Every week's Halloween here and on Impact Monday, Cam.
I'd love to see Curtis's Halloween costume as a hairy milk carton. That'd be just fantastic. First down of the 26-yard line for Florida. It's more entertaining than this first half. Florida 63 yards of offense. They have really struggled. I feel like the last few weeks, Paul, I'm going total Al Michaels on these games. I mean, I'm dumbfounded at Florida's play right now, but I need to give some credit to the Portland Fleet offense. I mean, Cyrus Jive, 9 for 11 for 64 yards, has not turned the ball over, and Ezekiel Love, with all the touches that he's gotten, has done a terrific job with them. 6.8 yards per carry. And even his 2 catches have gone for 10 total yards. Minson picks up 5, and we'll see what Florida can do with the last 90 seconds.
And it's not just Portland's offense. Their defense is playing phenomenally. Again, you're holding the Florida Storm to 0 points in the first half, only 12 rushing yards so far. only 56 unofficial passing yards. This is just tremendous play by Portland.
Handoff, Bullet Boletsky finally has a lane, breaks a tackle past midfield, gets to the Portland 49-yard line, and Florida desperately needed someone to step up. Bullet does just before the half to get him into possible scoring position.
And Bullet Boletsky almost nearly doubling the team's total offensive production so far in the game, just on one play alone. So we finally see the bullet shot out of the cannon, and what a great run by Charlie Boletsky to get Florida the first down.
It's worth noting that in 168 games as a franchise, Florida has never been shut out. Their franchise record low actually came just a few months ago in that blowout loss to Mexico City that they suffered before they got right and made the playoffs. Boletsky picks up nothing. Nice tackle made by Morris. In that game, Florida scored 6. Second down and 10 at the Fleet 48-yard line. 1 minute to go in the half. Again, a blitz from Portland. Excellent concentration from Stephen Bush. His first catch of the half. Hauls that in against the blitz. Now the ball at the Portland 38-yard line. Florida moving with 2 timeouts. Ron Cochran has to sidearm throw it. Pretty pass to Minson, but he couldn't get out of bounds. A pickup of 8. Cochran now 11 for 15. He has put some really nice passes to the boundary. 35 seconds to go in the first half. Ron again out to Minson, and Minson does get shoved out of bounds by Majors. Really nice drive here from Florida just before the end of the half.
Good to see Florida's offense. They've showed up and finally getting a drive going and trying to head into this halftime without the goose egg on the scoreboard, you know? Just trying to get 7, maybe even 3 points up within this next 30 seconds.
First down and 10 to the Portland 24. Cochran sets up a screen to Boletsky. He's got 2 blockers. 1, 2. Boletsky inside the 10. Down to the 5-yard line. Did not get out of bounds. Florida has to burn a timeout. But excellent play design from the Storm. Wow. They have really turned things around in the last couple of minutes.
This drive alone, again, this looks like a whole different Florida Storm team than we've seen in this first half. And we've been waiting for Bullet to get going, and he's showing why. He's one of the best running backs in the league. Again, former MVP. This is the guy you want to get the ball to.
Can never count out Bullet Boletsky. 32 yards on 9 carries, and now 2 receptions for 24 yards, 19 on that last catch down to the 5-yard line. Now Florida has to be careful down here. 24 seconds, just 1 timeout. May have time for 1, potentially 2 plays. We'll see what they come out in. First and goal. Cochran, pump fake, was looking for a route that got jammed, and Cochran gets sacked. Route was jammed. It was Stephen Bush by Stack at the top of the screen. Tyler's giving us oh-no's unmuted, but it's a caught for a touchdown. Florida scores. E.J. Minson. And it's 20-6 just before the end of the half. You got to love the hot mic moments. It's better than you're muted, bro, I guess. Just don't screw it up, fellas, as we send to you before the half. We've had plenty of that already. E.J. Minson with the touchdown. That was a heck of a drive from the Storm, and that gives you a whole new perspective on this first half.
I know that Florida is ecstatic to get 7 points on the board headed into halftime. Down 7-20 looks a lot better than being down 0-20.
A 9-play, 73-yard drive. And Florida, it's almost like the crowd quiets down, but it's more of a sigh of relief from the Storm bench that we're hearing, or lack thereof. That I can't think of a drive that a team needed more to end the half this season than that one from Florida.
Absolutely, Cam.
Leo Morris on the return with 3 seconds to go. Florida, before that drive, had 63 yards of total offense. They get 73 on that one drive that started with 1:57 seconds to go in the quarter. Shout out to Ron and Rochelle for these numbers. So in 2 minutes of a 22-minute half, Florida produces more offense than they did in the first 20 minutes. Just really well done there by Ron Cochran and this veteran Florida Storm squad. They get the hit and the tackle on Lozano Jr. at midfield, and that ends the first half. Boy, was it interesting. Boy, did Tyler and Curtis have plenty to talk about back at SFL headquarters, and that is the end of the first half of play. We send it, hopefully, try to do it right this week, to Chris Curtis and Tyler Falk for your APM Music halftime report. Fellas, see if I can get this right. Take it away.
I think we have it right, Cam. Welcome into the APM Music halftime report. I am Fuzzy Milk. That is Lucky Charm on the other side of me. We have it's a 20-7 ball game. Portland is ahead, but as Cam mentioned, Tyler, before that first half ended, that Florida touchdown was absolutely crucial.
Absolutely. I mean, coming into before that drive, they only had about 80 yards total offense. This is the worst I think we've ever seen Florida play up until that drive. They didn't look composed. They didn't look efficient. They look sloppy, but all of a sudden they start connecting with EJ Minson for a couple of plays. They get Boletsky going on a couple of nice swing passes. And all of a sudden we're talking about a whole different, set of circumstances here coming into the halftime. They say the biggest points come near halfway points in ball games, not just football, but soccer or football for the rest of the world, or basketball, a long, deep three in basketball. That changes the atmosphere. That changes the rhythm of what these teams will come out like in the second half.
It brings hope is what it does. It brings the chance for a potential turnaround, and we could be looking at that drive as a turning point to add, and as Cam mentioned, not just for this game, but possibly for this Florida early season, as we're already a third of the way through the regular season at this point. Looking at Portland, though, Portland has been on a completely different level. They lean on their horse, which is Ezekiel Love. Florida's defense has been playing pretty well, but Portland's offense just too strong the way it is. And Ezekiel Love, give you the stat, 71% of the total offensive snaps of Portland, he has touched the ball in some capacity.
We typically see his type of stats at the end of all games, 22 attempts for close to 150 yards. Just mind-boggling how often they went with Ezekiel Love. I think it was like 5 or so many plays at the beginning of the game where they just hurry up. Mm-hmm. Let's get the ball back in Love's hands, and they got first downs out of it. We rarely see something like that. And to touch on your defense point, they have stuffed Charlie Boletsky. They currently lead the tackles for loss race 4-1. 2 big tackles behind the line for Brody Gulch, one for McSlim and one for McLean. But honestly, really impressed with Portland's defense. Florida is, starting to realize we're not going to be able to run the football against Portland. That's something we're going to have to do differently in the second half.
They are indeed, and there's no doubt about that. But looking forward and looking back at the beginning of the season so far, let's look at this Portland offense and Portland and in general. And I want to know, in your words, what a player and the impact that he makes on a weekly basis, Ezekiel, what kind of impact he has on this Portland organization and their belief that they can go above where they've been previously.
So in my whole and honest opinion, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest stereotype coming out of SFL community is when someone says Portland Fleet football, you think Ezekiel Love. That is who they will ride their progress, who they'll ride their downfall, how they'll ride their success and failure. And for the longest time in Portland, Ezekiel Love was and still is, as we're seeing again tonight, their bell cow, their go-to guy. They are going to live and die by the run, live and die by Ezekiel Love. And for the longest time, it was more of a negative connotation. Yes, he was putting up numbers, getting close to maybe being considered MVP. But the biggest thing was it wasn't the wins that were going Portland's way. It was never his success directly linked them to how they would, perform in football games. Yes, he would get them touchdowns, but there really was never to this point, a stable passing game to complement him. Tonight, Cyrus Jive, 10 of 12 with a touchdown, no interceptions. Tonight, we're seeing what possibly Portland can be if they can keep this sustainability of a prolific rushing attack managed by and supported by a substantial and efficient passing attack.
And looking at what they could be, they're reminding me of the early building blocks of a successful Atlanta. And the way that they do things, they've ridden BDG Hollywood for seasons at this point, and they will continue to do so. And when he's going, that offense is going, and that's the way it's looking like in Portland as well. Looking at the division that Florida is in, we talked about Atlanta, but they currently lead the East Division, and they are looking at Louisiana in their rearview mirror right now. I want to talk to you about that East Division right now, and even Jacksonville sitting above 500 at the moment. Where do you see the rest of that division playing out, so to speak? And if we're looking at the top two in that division as Atlanta and Louisiana, who has the advantage long term in this season 20?
Well, I'm going to say something that's going to hurt a lot of people watching today's show. Florida, do not beat Portland today. Write them off of playoffs. Just completely disregard Florida for coming back and even making the playoffs. It will be too much of a hill to climb for Florida, given the way we've seen them play this season. I don't think Florida has an opportunity to come back with how tough that division is. They still have to play Louisiana. They still have to play a couple of solid teams. This is going to be, they still have to play Vancouver, if I remember correctly. This is a monster task for Florida. Even think about playoffs if they cannot take a 20-point comeback tonight. If they can show us a little bit of life, they can then start to challenge even Jacksonville for maybe a back in playoff spot, because the top three in that division, Atlanta, Louisiana, Jacksonville, Atlanta playing phenomenally, taking down Jacksonville, knocking them back to even 500. But I think Atlanta right now looks like they've got the pieces in play. They've won convincingly. They've won handedly. They've won in just good all-around football style. Louisiana had maybe one little slip up, but they're also looking pretty strong, taking care of a very hot Indianapolis franchise. And Jacksonville, yes, first two games, 2 good wins. These last 2 games, pretty hard losses to take. But I think it's only a 3-horse race. All again, depending on whether or not Florida make the comeback tonight.
Fair enough. This could be the turning point, and that touchdown that we saw just previously could be that the start of that comeback. Going to a division that Cam and Paul touched on briefly in the pregame, but I want to break it down a little bit more, and I want to go to the Atlantic Division. You have Baltimore, you have DC, you have Charleston, you have Carolina, and I want to know kind of your thought process right now. Baltimore sitting at the top. We know they're there. They're on a bye week this week, which is why we're not talking about them having a win. They have Charleston next up. You have Carolina, Charleston, and DC, where Carolina plays DC next, which has the makings of a mid-season big game atmosphere. I want to know, A, where you think that game in particular is going, with DC sitting at 2-2 right now, and where who you think in that division has a chance to be the closest to Baltimore at this stage.
Well, in the Atlantic Division, I think the closest team in that division is not DC, but Carolina. We're really going to see, almost officially what will happen next week when those two teams play each other. But I think Carolina has looked really strong. They played extremely well versus Mexico City in the season opener. They have played even stronger since then. The defense, Monte Wyatt, especially this past week, had come away with a nice pick 6 to help seal things away against Fort Worth, a very tough defensive Fort Worth. And the offense is clicking. The offense has gotten the job done. DC it seems over the past couple of seasons has these little hiccups sometimes. They were strong last season, but how did they fall against Baltimore? They fell because the defense wasn't solidified, or the offense wasn't solidified, or everything wasn't solidified. Carolina has more of the solid defense that's able to maybe be the number 2. Again, we'll find out officially. I think, in my opinion, I'm betting on Carolina as far as maybe the lead horse in this race. Charleston, though, 3 straight losses. This is an interesting start to the season for them as we're a third way through the season. Who knows what will happen to the Preds? Right now, a loss to Carolina is really going to hurt them if they get close to the playoff seeding. And then, what else can we say about Baltimore besides
exactly.
they're just Baltimore?
Baltimore looking back behind them and not seeing very many people in their rearview mirror at this point, but the season is yet young, so we may see that change. So, all right, well, getting back to things at hand, Portland owns a 20-7 advantage over the Florida Storm of Florida with a late touchdown in that first half to get it back to a 2-score game. Cameron Irvine and Paul Sarp have the call for you when they get back inside the shipyard. It is Chris Curtis and Tyler Falk with you. This has been the APM Music Halftime Report. Stay tuned for postgame after the game. Enjoy the second half, everybody.
Welcome back, everybody. Paul Sarp along with Cameron Irvine to start this second half. Thank you, Chris Curtis and Tyler Falk from the studio. Both of you, don't change. On the return up to the 27-yard line. And that's where the Florida Storm will get the ball back to start the second half. We'll start with it. That's got to make some Portland Fleet fans feel nervous. Paul, you well rested and ready to go?
I'm ready to go here for this second half. And I'm sure that in the locker room, head coach Art Vandelay was getting his team fired up, letting them know what they need to do in the second half to get this victory.
Cochran outside to Optimus Klein. I think this team, you could tell by the way that they played that last drive of the first half, feels Tyler Falk's sense of urgency for this squad. And I don't think that, with their division, he's that far off from, a full-blown panic button, and it's going to be interesting to see what this Florida team gives us in this second half. They have plenty of veterans who have been here before. Can't wait to watch it all unfold. Cochran with a play fake on 2nd down and 3, flips it outside, caught by Minson. To the point about veterans, Paul, this team has 8 players that have played at least 11 seasons. That's over 5 years that a fourth of this team has been in the league, or a third of this team, rather, has been in this league. They know what's at stake in this one, and they don't want to go down without a fight.
And that's just an incredible thing that you mentioned. Again, that just shows the culture in Florida, the team camaraderie that you want to stay in Florida time or season after season. Again, we see players that are drafted to Florida, they stay there, and players want to be in Florida to begin with.
Bullet no gain on that carry. Robert Brouwer with the tackle, his first of the game, brings up 2nd down.
Both teams, they really need a win here this week. Again, Florida, they've had 2 losing seasons, if they have a losing season this season, it'll be their 2nd losing season in 14 seasons, where Portland's looking for their first winning season in 6 seasons.
And Boletsky picks up 8. That'll bring up 3rd down and 2. A little slow to get up. Khalil Thomas with the stop. Nobody comes over and help out your teammate. But yeah, it's a shocking stat with Portland. They've had a couple of 6-6 seasons, but Portland wants to take themselves to the next level. They feel like this is a playoff caliber squad and team. They have obviously made some adjustments that were hindrances the first couple of weeks. Cochran's pass is knocked down by Luis Negron on the line, and that'll set up a 4th down. That's just a brilliant play made by Lewis, and then he points at Ron Cochran and he says, watch the replay.
And these defensive linemen are taught it from a young age. When a quarterback's ready to throw the ball, just get your hands up and jump up. the worst case scenario, he gets the pass off. But if you can take away a first down opportunity from the opposing team just by batting a ball down, great job by Luis Negron.
Punt is away. It'll bounce inside the 10. That's Marcus Agrippa that cannot get it down in the end zone. Miss any SFL action? Want to fast forward your SFL experience? Check out highlights of SFL games on the SFL YouTube channel and on Highlight Nation, provided by Victor's Valiant, YouTube's premier sports highlight maker. Subscribe to Highlight Nation and Victor's Valiant on YouTube for all your college football and basketball highlight needs. That dude is A+. Victor's Valiant, man. That guy is so awesome to work with. First down and 10. Hand off to Love. He loses a yard. That's how the second half starts for Ezekiel Love. A lot of players slow to get up tonight. Ryan Tobin with the stop.
Yeah, big hits all game long so far. And we're still waiting, Cam, to see the urgency that Tyler was talking about in this Florida team. If their offense can't do it, their defense is going to have to step up here and try to turn the tides of this game.
They were putting together a pretty solid drive until Negron came through with that key swat down. This is a toss to Love, and Francis actually drops him for a loss of 3 more. So Florida has come out and adjusted here in the second half, and Love has not had the gaps he saw in the first. 3rd and long for Cyrus Jive.
Yeah, for Ezekiel Love to put up 145 yards in this first half, and then again, it's still early in the second half, but showing signs of struggling a little bit.
Jive caught. First down. Wow, what a conversion on 3rd down and 14. Israel Adams on the catch.
That's just, and we're going to see here again, Cyrus Jive just putting his trust in his receiver, Israel Adams, just throwing the ball over the middle, finding the gap in the defense, and getting enough yards on 3rd and long to move the chains for a first down.
Portland now 6 of 10 on 3rd down. Francis was there, just unable to make the play for this Florida Storm defense. 1st and 10 at the 35. Jive going to throw. Clean pocket. Jive lofts one a little bit too far, and really nice coverage from Aaron Gooden down the field, who also has 7 tackles tonight. That was Sue, the intended target, Dakota Sue for the Fleet.
Yeah, Dakota Sue just in tight coverage, got hands on it, but again, you're in between 2-3 defenders trying to make a diving catch. That's just a good throw by Jive. Just unfortunate that Sue was not able to bring the ball down with him.
103 viewers watching our primetime game right now. A huge thank you to every single viewer, whether you're a dedicated diehard fan or just a casual viewer of the SFL. Thanks for making our primetime efforts feel worthwhile and joining us for some great SFL football all season long. Adams with the catch will bring up 3rd and 8.
A lot of players here tonight just making an impact for their team. Again, Portland Fleet, they're up 20-7, trying to increase the lead with this drive. Not sure what we're going to see to result in this drive.
4 wide. Cyrus steps up in the pocket and is hit. That was Tomaello with the takedown, and Portland will have to punt again. Both defenses looking strong here in this 3rd quarter and actually playing really well as Portland will have to punt.
And what a player in Alessandro Tomaello. Again, only needs 1 sack to tie 33rd all-time. Ray West in sacks all-time in the SFL history. Again, tremendous play. Couldn't get the sack there, but is able to get the ball back for Florida.
Man, almost. I can't believe that wasn't blocked. Fair catch called for by Klein at the 28-yard line. And I want to go back to the thanks, Paul, to the I was watching I'm a fan of a particular YouTube channel, and I'm just a casual. I do subscribe to the channel, but I'm part of their Discord server. I don't really say much, but I love that channel, right? I love all the content they produce. I love what they do. But I've never actually talked to the person that runs the channel. I've never actually, said anything or had any kind of interaction with them. And anybody that's out there watching this video tonight that hasn't had that with me or any of the leaders here in the SFLs, that pass is incomplete. I just want to say that your fandom is also valued and valuable, and we appreciate having you here for any amount of minutes that you consume SFL football. We really appreciate your fandom as well. In my feels a little bit.
Couldn't have said that any better, Cam.
2nd and 10. Cochran now 16 of 22. Appreciate that, Paul. On the incomplete pass, 122 from Cochran tonight. Needed 268 to get to 45,000. Still plenty of time to do that. Minson works the sidelines some more. He's up to a quiet 10 catches for 62 yards, over 50% of the Florida pass game production.
Yeah, EJ Minson is just showing to be the lead target here for Ron Cochran. Again, Ron Cochran's very comfortable with Minson, and again, that's 10 receptions for EJ in this game so far.
4 wide, play fake. Cochran on 3rd down and 8. Deep shot down the field. It is tipped away and nearly intercepted. Look how many Florida defenders. There's 7 players in the deep middle of the field. Everybody dropped to that spot, and that's where Cochran threw it 4th down.
Just that defense. It's kind of like they knew where Ron Cochran was going to throw. Just swarming to the ball as soon as Ron Cochran threw it and unable to get the 1st down. We're going to see the Florida punt team again.
Oh my gosh, DJ Woods is going to get ice cream. Ask him what flavors y'all want. Speaking my language. From the 26, Morris on a return up to the 32-yard line. SFL action on Next Level Sports returns next Saturday with a Season 19 semifinal rematch between the Arizona Scorpions and the London Knights. Catch all the action on DirecTV Channel 623, or for a complete channel guide, visit NLSE.com. Stay tuned for more programming announcements. Next Level Sports. Get more. We won't be there, Paul, but we will be in Minnesota for Monday night next week. Indianapolis, Minnesota. Woo!
What a game. What a game.
Ever since the schedule came out, I knew that was going to be the game as Ezekiel Love picks up 1. There's an updated look at his numbers. 25 carries, but he hasn't done much in the second half. And brings up 2nd and 9.
Here. Very quiet in the second half. Again, Florida's just kind of tweaked their game plan a little bit just to try to stop Ezekiel Love, as he was just running all over them in the first half.
2nd and 9 at the 34. Jive going to throw down the middle, incomplete. That pass swatted down by Ryan Tobin. Tobin, who also has 2 tackles for loss with his first pass deflection of the evening. And Jive's efficient night is slowly starting to become less so, 12 of 17.
If you're Portland, you just gotta hang in there. Stick to the game plan. Just bleed the clock out. You're up 13. Your defense is playing great so far.
Clean sheet thus far for the Fleet. 258 yards of offense. 3rd down and 9. Jive stepping up in the pocket. Takes the check down. It'll be 4th down. I don't mind that play out of Jive. Didn't force the ball. Didn't do anything that would flip momentum in the football game. And instead just checks it down to Gavin Bouvette. And Portland will punt away and rely on that excellent defense once more.
Again, I personally like that call as well. Again, you didn't get the 1st down, but you gain a couple more yards.
Oh, they blocked that!
And it's blocked!
They blocked that one. Florida's been close all night long, and that could be a momentum switcher for the Storm.
I was just about to say that they're going to pin them deep in their own territory, but what a great job by this special teams to get that block. And now, Cam, they have the ball in Portland territory on the 27.
Adam Jones with the block. Plays the slot corner on defense. Florida's got the ball at the Portland 27. Cochran back to pass. Dumps it off. That's hauled in by Ron Haynes. His first target of the night. Zarkov has no catches on 1 target, and that picks up 4 yards.
And that's interesting that that's going to be the first catch by a tight end tonight. Again, last week, Veridin Zarkov, he had a heck of a game. I believe he led the team in targets, 9 receptions, 114 yards.
Offside. This is like a total flip, Paul. All the things that Florida was doing poorly in the first half, just poor execution in all phases. Now Portland is starting to do them. You've got the offside. You've got the block punt. Ezekiel Love has ground to a halt, hasn't done anything in the third quarter, just like Boletsky in the first 20 minutes of that half was doing nothing until finally he got it going on the ground. It's been flip-flopped.
It's been flipped on its head. Again, we're just seeing both teams. It's like freaky. What's that? Freaky Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it feels like we're watching here.
Second and 1 of the 18. Cochran changing up the play. Handoff Boletsky. Boletsky makes a man miss. First down to the 11-yard line. Oh, you could feel it. Somebody in the locker room, I think, got that video of Tyler Falk and said, hey, listen to what they're saying about you.
I think so. And again, Florida, they're turning it up here in the second half, and just they're going to try to lower this 13-point deficit.
And off to Boletsky, no gain. Really nice stop there from Khalil Thomas, his third solo tackle of the night. .320 left in the third. Cochran out of the shotgun, 4 receivers, 3 to the left side. Ron fires, end zone, touchdown! Stephen Bush with his second catch of the night. It's a 7-point game.
Stephen Bush is a prime-time red zone threat for Florida and a nightmare for teams in the SFL.
I think that was Brian Evans, the 6th DB in the slot for Portland, jumped a little early on that pass. Ron Cochran now up to 140 passing yards. He is 128 away from 45,000 for his career, joining Matt Wilson and Julian Tyree as the only quarterbacks to ever do that in SFL history. And Florida has scored 14 in a row. There is still 3:07 to go in the third quarter. Impressive stones on the Storm to not bury their head after getting down 20-0 on the road.
And we have ourselves a game, Cam.
Morris on the return. Not much there. Only up to the 22-yard line. Derek Majors, 6 tackles, leads the way for Portland's defense. Also has a pass deflection. For the Storm defense, Adrian Blaine and Ryan Tobin, 8 total tackles. Tobin's got 2 tackles for loss and a pass deflection as well. Florida had 1 tackle for loss in the first half, has had 2 in this third quarter. Portland has had none in the third quarter after 4 in the second half. Jives' pass is caught by Adams after being nearly jumped. Adams, with his 5th catch of the night, picks up 5.
And Israel Adams, just a prolific route runner. Again, just gets those short little routes and just eats up yardage to help Portland get first downs, drives after drive.
Ezekiel Love, -3 rushing yards in this quarter. 2nd and 5, he'll take the handoff, and he'll pick up a first down.
There he is.
To the 35, pickup of 8. Moves the chains again.
Ezekiel Love showing some more life. Again, he's kind of calmed down. Florida's been able to kind of contain him to start this second half, but this might be what Ezekiel Love needed to get going to finish this game.
First down at the 35-yard line for the Fleet. They win this game. They get to 2-2, 1 game back of the division with Vancouver waiting next week. Love takes the handoff. Strung out by the rest of the defense. Blaine cleans it up. His 6th solo tackle, tied with Tobin and Majors for the lead. That Vancouver-Portland game is one of those late ones next Friday, 10:15 p.m. Eastern kickoff. Motor City Vegas is after them at 10:30. Second down and 6 at the Fleet 39-yard line. Oh, the pass is dropped by Warner. See what I'm talking about, Paul? In the first half, you had that drop by the tight end that resulted in the interception for Florida. Now Portland is the one dropping passes.
Freaky Friday, Cam. It's a freaky thing we're watching and witnessing here. Again, first half, nothing could go Florida's way. And now this second half, it just seems that everything's going in the way of Florida.
3rd and 6 at the 39. Jive to pass. Slants. Nobody's open. Incomplete. And a good hit there from Francis. Pass. He was looking for Bouvette again. And Francis laid him out. 4th down for Portland. Oh,
Florida in that zone. That Florida zone defense, such a tough defense to play against, and it looks like Florida's going to have a chance here to possibly take this lead for the first time in the game.
I never would have thought we'd be sitting here saying that just about a half hour ago.
Yeah.
Punt is away. From the 25-yard line. Line on the return up to the 28. Wow.
And the fact that we're saying that, Cam, it just shows the resilience of this Florida team. Again, we've seen them kind of have slow starts to the seasons in the past until, again, they flip that switch and it's, as we had a super chat earlier, hashtag all gas, no brakes.
Jive in the second half is 4 for 9. First down for Ron Cochran. Fires it outside to Beletsky. And Beletsky picks up a yard. Good gang tackling there. Derek Majors leads the way. He's been outstanding on the outside. 2nd and 9 coming up.
And I like how Florida is trying to get Beletsky involved. Again, he's just struggling. This Fleet defense is just doing a great job containing him. As we see below, only 47 yards on 13 attempts for a 3.5 yard per carry average. It's just phenomenal by Portland.
Beletsky again on a dump off. Majors another tackle. This dude is killing it tonight. And he'll set up a 3rd and long for the Storm. 2 for 7.
Yeah, former All-Star. I'm sorry, I was off a little bit, but Derek Majors, not an all-star, showing why he should be an all-star here in this game.
Derek Majors, 6 seasons in the SFL, was a minor league quarterback, won a championship with Madison in the inaugural season of SFLM. The pass is intercepted! Cochran throws another interception by way of Dale McClain. That's his 3rd of the night. And that's the last thing Florida needed to start creeping up in this comeback effort.
That's going to be number 8 for Dale McClain in his short 2-season career. And just phenomenal time to get your 8th interception. Again, this has been the story for Ron Cochran all season, is these interceptions. They're just hurting Florida more and more with each interception.
Florida coming into the game, just 3 turnovers in 3 games, and they have 0 tonight. They have done a great job taking care of the football this season and showing that it is possible to teams like Florida and Vegas, who have struggled with that so far this season. Tobin with another pass deflection on a ball intended for Warner. Man, we got some defenders out here on both teams playing the games of their life right now.
Absolutely, and we almost had the chat screaming for another commentator's curse. Again, Portland, a very careful team with how they navigate down the field, and Cyrus Jive almost wished that he could have had that pass back.
You just doubled down on that. I just want everyone to take note. Jive outside to Warner, turns the corner, gets the first down.
Stepped out.
Did he step out before the sticks?
I
don't think so.
Yeah, he did get that left foot out of bounds there. And if he was able to keep that foot in bounds.
Woohoo! End of the quarter. It's frisky here at Evo 9X Stadium. 20-14, Fleet on top of the Storm. Pause 10 seconds for station identification. We'll be right back to Oregon after this.
Presentation of the Simulation Football League is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or account of the game without the express written consent of the league office is prohibited.
Off the Benjamin Warner first down catch. It's first down to the Florida 36-yard line. Trying to take advantage of the Dale McClain interception. 3 different players have picks tonight for Portland. Handoff to Love. He is dropped for a loss by Aaron Gooden. That play was very effective in the first half. It has not been here in the second. And I don't think that we accounted for, Paul. We accounted for maybe Love wouldn't get as many touches in the second half. What we didn't account for was that he would be stuffed as he has.
I think this is going to be a great test in this young quarterback's career. Again, Portland gave Cyrus Jive the keys to the franchise, and the last time these two teams met, O.J. Bruin was the quarterback for Portland, where Portland has lost twice to Florida in their 6 seasons in the SFL. So I'm wondering here, is Cyrus Jive the answer for Portland against this Florida team?
16 of 24, 130 yards. QBR hovering around 95. Out of the shotgun, 4 wide receivers. Jive fires it over the middle. Gavin Bouvette with the catch. First down to the 26-yard line. Way to step up for your team. Jive is mixing the ball around a lot tonight. 6 catches for Israel Adams, 5 for Benjamin Warner. And Bouvette's got 1 now as well.
It's something we haven't seen from Portland here to start the season off. Again, they've been relying on Ezekiel Love, so it's a good thing that they have been including these other targets.
Love gets to the outside. Nice open field tackle there from Gooden. His 9th. 2nd and 3 upcoming, and Love is nearing the 30 carry mark.
Portland just trying to increase this lead, make it a 2-possession game, kind of give them a little more comfortability to finish this game. And Florida trying to stop this defense, possibly get the ball back via turnover, because even if they held them to a field goal here, it's still a 2-possession game.
2nd down, under 9 minutes to go in the 4th. Handoff Love, and he's short. A big 3rd and 2 coming up. Francis on the stop. APM Music is unrivaled music to bring your stories to life, inspiring every production with the world's most robust and constantly refreshed music collection. State-of-the-art technology and world-class customer service. APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore their library and to find the perfect tracks for your projects, visit apmmusic.com. 3rd and 2. Jive! Oh, he dropped it!
Oh, he
Jive
dropped it!
With a perfect, almost like a flip right off the snap exchange to a receiver who dropped the pass. Did you catch a number on that?
I did not. I might have been 81.
Warner, I think you're right. Warner over the middle, just dropped it on 3rd and short,
unfortunate.
And they force a field goal. This from 34 yards out. Florida's already blocked a punt. Portland looking for their first points of the second half, and the 34-yarder is good. So at least the Fleet have a little bit of breathing room. Back up by 9.
Yeah, to get that extra cushion to make it a 2-possession game is huge for Portland. Portland just needed to get points on the board to make it a 2-possession game. I know ideally they were looking for 7 there, but 3 is the next best option, and I'm sure the coaches are happy with that result on that drive.
Looking ahead to our Impact Monday slate, we've got Indy, Minnesota next week. Then we've got Sioux Falls, Atlanta. We'll have the unbeaten Swarm for the first time this season as Klein returns it up to the 25-yard line. Then in week 7, we head to Louisiana. How good does that game look right now? Vancouver at Louisiana, Monday, February 27th. Met in a classic quarterfinal game a couple seasons ago. Then we got Arizona and D.C. coming up in week 8. The slate looks great for Monday night over the next month.
Can't wait for every last one of those games, Cam.
First down and 10 to the Florida 25-yard line, 23-14 Portland. Ron Cochran down the middle, caught. First down to the 42. That's Klein with the catch, his 3rd of the night.
Again, Optimus Klein taking a little bit less of a role since coming here to Florida from San Diego, but again, making an impact, and that's what he's done all throughout his SFL career.
Klein chasing some records at the top. Top of those leaderboards. He's one of those 8 players with 11-year-plus experience. Portland has 0 of those. Mel Davis with the most experience with 7 as that pass is caught. And how many people are just going to whiff at air? Stephen Bush makes the catch. Was there money on the ground? Did I miss something?
There might have been. There might have been a little bit there. Again, this Florida team, they're looking impressive driving down the field here, but is it too late for them, Cam?
Cochran on first down. Deep shot down the field. Picked off by Majors. Return past the 30. Got a block. 40, 45. That's the 4th different player of this Portland Fleet squad to get an interception tonight. And the turnovers screw Florida again.
Yeah, just a great play by Majors there to just go up and get the ball, steal it from the receiver, not even give him a chance, and then to get some yards after the interception. It just looks like so far in this game, Portland's been the hungrier team, and it seems like Portland's wanted this win a little bit more than Florida so far.
Heavy set here. Watch for a Love pass or a Love reception out of the backfield. Jive flips it out to Zeke. Picks up 3. I can do a 2, Ramos. 2nd and 7.
Now, if you're Portland right now, again, all you have to do is drain the clock. You're up by 9 points. You have the ball. Take as much time as you need. Take as much time off of the clock. But if you're Florida, you still have a few timeouts. One stop, you get the ball, score. We're still in a game right now, Cam.
Love to the outside, and Davidson makes the tackle. It's been a tough night for Ryan Davidson. I've given him a lot of crap, but nice job there to force a 3rd down.
Ezekiel Love looks like he's a little hurt on that, holding his back there. Ryan Davidson finally getting the hit on Ezekiel Love.
31 carries for Love, 27 passes for Jive in what has become a balanced effort tonight by the Fleet, but Love gets another handoff here, and he's going to be short. Portland seems content with just playing the clock out here, playing with fire, but they trust their defense. Paul, has been exceptional this evening. 4 interceptions. They've got 4 tackles for loss, 4 passes defended, and Derek Majors has been a one-on-one machine in the flat against Bullet Boletsky.
And Portland, I think, definitely is playing with fire again. You're giving almost got it again. You're giving a Hall of Fame quarterback a chance to bring this team back.
Oh my gosh, I thought they had it.
Yeah, that was a close one. That was a close one.
That would have been a disaster for the Fleet, and Cochran will set up at the 17-yard line, playing with fire a bit indeed. So Portland is at Vancouver next week, trying to get to even in the division. They'll follow that up with a bye before returning home to face the Indianapolis Ramblers. Should be a pretty entertaining game. 1st and 10 at the 17. Handoff, Boletsky got a lot of space. Almost picked up a block there, which would have sprung him for even further. Boletsky gets 9, again, slow to get up, 2nd and 1.
And that was just tremendous blocking by these Florida guards. Again, that hole, you could have drove a bus through it, Cam. Giving Boletsky that amount of space. Huge shout out to Finley James and Leroy James on that offensive front for Florida.
Cochran play fake. Cochran sacked. They finally made him pay for that play action. And that's Brouwer with the takedown.
And the James brothers just couldn't contain the defensive front there. As we see, just number 66 trying to protect his quarterback, but the defender just getting the upper hand there in that battle.
Florida, if they don't win tonight, boy, it's tough. They play Louisiana next week, followed by a bye, then Minnesota. Cochran, deep shot down the field, intercepted again! Bernard Smith's second, Cochran's fifth, and the Portland defense has been outstanding in the second half, fighting off a comeback.
Just tremendous. This entire game, the Portland Fleet secondary, an absolute no-fly zone. For the 5th time today, we see Ron Cochran throw an interception, and this Portland Fleet defense came in with a purpose tonight in this game.
I think that was Brar. Did you see that defensive lineman dive for Ron? That's the type of effort that we've seen out of Portland's defense all night tonight. I mean, even if you can't make the play, just get in his face.
That extra bit of effort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. 4.5 to go. Handoff, Love. Wearing down the Storm as Davidson misses another tackle. Portland Fleet with a 199 super chat, hashtag no fly zone. And
That's
Love
exactly
starting to get moving. Sorry about that, Paul.
All good. That's exactly what it's been. No fly zone for this Fleet defense and all Ezekiel Love on offense. And I wouldn't even say all Ezekiel Love. Again, Cyrus Jive having a very good game. Like I said, just small, just slow and steady. Just play smart. That's all Cyrus Jive is about.
Love, 33 carries, 34 carries. Breaks a tackle past the 10 down to the 6-yard line. Florida looks like a team that's just beaten down. 1st and goal.
Ezekiel Love all game long. It's just he gets better as the game goes on. I know he had a rough 3rd quarter, but to still have that amount of gas left in the tank here late in the 4th quarter, it's just an incredible thing to watch. Getting his 34th carry and to have that much energy left, it's just phenomenal.
1st and goal at the 6. Drive feels longer than it has actually been just because it's just been so bruising for Portland. 3:20 to go in the 4th. Even if they score a touchdown, it's still a 2-score game, but the clock is Florida's biggest enemy, and themselves for that matter. Love is wrapped up by Davidson, saves a touchdown, and then talks smack to the crowd. Did you see that?
I did.
But it actually kind of hurts Florida because they need the ball back.
They sure do. And again, this clock is rolling. You're down 9 points. I don't want to say that Florida's out of it, but they really, really, really need the ball back to score a touchdown and get back in this game. Again, 2:45 left. There's a little bit of time left, but the Portland Fleet trying to put the nail in the coffin.
2nd and goal at the 5. Handoff, Love. Oh, Love
brought down.
Thrown down by Davidson. Davidson is playing with an attitude here in this second half, and Florida is not going to go quietly into this good night after all. It's 3rd and goal at the 7.
Ryan Davidson must have taken that first half personally because we've seen a whole different Ryan Davidson in this second half. And again, that's the 3rd time we've seen Ryan Davidson get the best of Ezekiel Love in this second half.
They do not have to snap the ball before the 2-minute warning. 3rd and goal at the 7. They won't. 2 minutes left. And fascinating matchup here tonight as Portland tries to beat Florida for the first time. You're watching Impact Monday on SFL YouTube. Third and goal at the 7. Handoff, Love to run more clock, and wrapped up immediately by Stephen Black. Florida will call their first timeout, so the field goal for Rob would make this a 12-point game. And Florida would need 2 touchdowns and onside kick recovery in the final stages of this one.
And at this current state in the game, a field goal from Portland is honestly the best case scenario short of a turnover, but to keep it within 2 possessions is huge for Florida if they want to have a chance to win this game.
24-yard chip shot for Rob. Good. 26-14. The difference in this game are the 4 Rob field goals. with 1:54 left. We remind you that coming up on the SFL postgame update with Lucky Charm and Fuzzy Milk, they will have postgame analysis and talk Portland. Are they the clear-cut second-best team in the Pacific? Of course, assuming that they hold on and win this game. Florida's turnovers and how much they've hurt, and looking ahead to next week's big rivalry showdown. Must-see television here on SFL YouTube between Indianapolis and Minnesota. It's all coming up on the SFL postgame update. All right, Ron Cochran, 5 picks. He has thrown interceptions on his last 3 drives. In fact, Florida, in their last 9 plays, has 3 turnovers since their touchdown that cut the deficit to 6 points. Cochran to pass on 1st and 10. It is knocked away and picked again.
Another one.
Are you serious?
Wow.
Wow. Ball taken away by Leo Morris, the 4th different player on this Portland secondary with an interception.
I'll tell you what, any team in the SFL is going to be thinking again when they play against this Portland Fleet secondary, just playing an absolute perfect game defensively within the secondary. This is incredible to see this.
This has been such a frustrating game for Florida, Paul, because they started out slow, not playing well. Then they were playing really good football as they'll take their second time out. And Ron Cochran's touchdown pass made it a 6-point game. Florida had all the momentum, and then they got the ball back, if you remember, with a chance to take the lead.
Yeah.
And every drive since then has been a Ron Cochran interception. It's crazy.
I'm not sure at this point what else to say. It's just a tough game for Florida and Ron Cochran himself. But again, this Florida team is persistent in how they put the work in week after week to compete in each game. So again, 0-4, it's looking like this might be the outcome of the game. But again, I wouldn't put Florida out of the picture just yet, just because they're proven winners, and there's a lot of season left over, Cam.
3rd and 4. Portland can run the clock out officially if they get a first down. Love will break a tackle, a second, and that is how this game should end. On Love's 38th carry. That may be a new SFL record. He was just fantastic this evening.
38 carries, 201 yards, 1 touchdown, 5 receptions for 20 yards. When you put the ball in Ezekiel Love's hands 43 times, this is exactly what happens.
And now knees for Cyrus Jive, who was 20 for 29 tonight, 149 yards, no turnovers. Portland, 3 turnovers in 4 games. That is the least amount in the league right now. They are 2-2. They have won 2 in a row. They've cleaned up their defense. Vancouver is next. I cannot wait for that matchup on Friday night in SFL After Dark, Paul, because that is one attractive game out in the Pacific Division.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. I can't wait to see what happens here next week. Again, we're only in week 5, Cam. There's so much great football to be seen in the SFL's 20th season. It's just what a time to be alive, Cam, and I'm excited to be here.
And all I can say to Tyler Falk is if you have more Florida slander, better not give out your address, as Portland takes the victory 26-14. An excellent effort from the Fleet, both on offense and defense tonight. Paul, your final thoughts on what transpired here this evening at Evo 9X Stadium?
Final thoughts. Wow, just what a game. Portland
Look at those
coming into the... Yeah, that's just unbelievable. Portland secondary is just something different. Ezekiel Love is a different animal. Cyrus Jive played great. Just, again, I've been saying it all night. He's just played such a slow and confident game. And his efforts tonight helped Portland beat Florida for the first time. So for Portland, it's looking like third time was the charm. And what a game. All around, what a great game.
A terrific job by Ron Haynes and Rochelle Colston in our stat truck. The post-game update is right around the corner with Tyler Falk and Chris Curtis. And it'll be interesting to see how they break down this one. They'll give you a preview of Indy and Minnesota that we are super excited for next week. You won't want to miss it. For our entire crew, for Paul Sarp, I'm Cameron Irvine here from Evo 9X Stadium. This has been another Impact Monday and a special presentation of the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music. For our entire crew, we leave you from Portland and we send you back to the SFL studios for a post-game wrap-up. Fellas, take it away.
A 26-14 result as the Portland Fleet take down the Florida Storm at home at the Shipyard. Chris Curtis, Tyler Funk with you in post-game wrap-up. And Tyler, Portland turned on the gas. They turned into the literal no-fly zone on a multitude of occasions, especially in that second half, and took Florida's hopes and dreams of a comeback win down with them. Give me what you saw in that second half and what the difference was between the first and second.
Well, we can talk about 4 turnovers in that second half and some coming deep in Portland territory. We can talk about how the third down disease on offense has become entirely systemic. We can talk about how miserable that running game is. But I'm going to say this. On top of all of that, it has been Florida's least luckiest season to date. 0-4 now to begin what has been the most dismal campaign in franchise history. And I'm not saying all these words because I hate Florida. I have so much respect for Florida. I have so much respect for Mighty, so much respect for Art. This is incredibly just unbelievable. It's spectacular, stupendous, just sauce that we have here. And I was taking a look at it, at some of the numbers. Ron Cochran right now is at 15 interceptions through 4 weeks of the regular season for Florida. If that pace keeps up, he will not only shatter his season high of 31 interceptions, he might even break the record for most interceptions in a single season by any quarterback. This is nothing. This season is nothing like any of us anticipated. We expected Florida to be strong, to control the East Division, but they have laid a literal goose egg in the win column, and everyone else has taken notice.
Yeah, and Atlanta's sitting there back in the East Division saying thank you very much as that division becomes a little less competitive with Florida underachieving as they have. Let's talk about the other side of the ball real quick, and let's talk about this Portland Fleet offense. We talked a bit about Ezekiel Love in the halftime report, and when he touches the ball 58% of the time, that is a little bit too dependent, maybe all your eggs in one basket. But for Portland, it's working because of the variety I think they're getting him the ball.
And we talked about it at halftime, right? How much does Zeke mean to this offense? He carried not just the team, but the anchor in the stadium. I think that's his workout routine. Drag the anchor about 3 or 4 times back and forth during the field because he has to carry the anchor, has to carry the team on his back week in, week out. And Portland's obliging him. They know what their strength is. Ezekiel Love is the tip of the spear, the tip of the bow on the Fleet, the first destroyer out in the water to crush any opposition that they try and throw at him. And we saw it again tonight.
Looking at Portland, first question I have for you in regard to them is, are they the clear-cut second best team in the Pacific Division? And then do they have what it takes, as young as they are, as new as they are in the realm of their team structure, do they have the chance to catch Vancouver this season?
I think Portland is, without a doubt, the second team in the Pacific Division. Seattle with their first away victory, first franchise away victory, and first victory of the season, this past weekend. They're making some strides. They won an away game. That's something we, have to wait a while for teams to do when they first come in. They've gone and done it. But without a doubt, with how Los Angeles has played, there's no question in my mind that Portland is the second team in the Pacific Division. However, to say that they can directly compete with Vancouver, I think that's too soon to say. They will be competing for a wild card spot, but I don't think the division. I think unless Vancouver completes a full collapse like we've seen from Florida, I don't think Portland will be catching Vancouver, because Vancouver has a much better foundation than the rest of the teams in the Pacific.
I know that Andy Hamilton, Michael Prococo, and Brett Killian ownership over there would absolutely have a collective aneurysm if that were to take place. So that being said, let us go ahead and look ahead at next week, the Impact Monday schedule, or as Mike Daggs would call it, the Cam and Paul Monday Night Spectacular, has Minnesota and Indy, and this is circled on a lot of people's schedules. Give me your thoughts on two teams that are fairly new to the landscape and B, early on in that in their introduction, are doing as well as they are in building their team.
And look, Minnesota had an explosive opening season, but ever since these two teams were announced for getting an expansion bid back in season 18, these two teams, Indy and Minnesota, were going hammer and tongue already in chat in general, and it showed this past in season 19 with how much respect, but how much hate they have for each other. We are going to be treated for a spectacular rivalry game on next Monday night. I can't wait. I can't wait to see my home state take on Indy. It should be a blast.
What's going to be fun is that even if the game gets a little bit out of hand one way or the other, the drama and the collective feeling off of the field is going to be story worthy as well. So there's going to be a fun time no matter what we have. But Portland comes through and takes care of business on their home turf against the Florida Storm by a final count of 26-12, I believe. That's how 14. That goes. That being 14. Thank you.
Don't discredit Florida.
You're right. I mean, coming from you, that's pretty good. Right
Tyler, I think Christian wants you to say bad things about Indy.
Oh, say the bad things about Indy. Well, their check engine lights on. That's all I got.
Oh, okay. All right. And if there's anything about Indy that I know from personal experience, is that if your check engine light's on, you're not going to find a mechanic for a lot of square miles. You will find a lot of corn. You will not starve, but you will not find a mechanic in anywhere near the time frame you need it.
Well,
so
in case it's a soybean season. But
oh yeah. Okay, fair enough. All right. That said, Indy and Mini in 1 week's time on the Impact Monday schedule. For Cameron Irvine, our stats team, Paul Sarp, Tyler Falk, I'm Chris Curtis saying goodbye and good night from SFL HQ. We will see you on Friday for a late pack of games as we get into the following week. Have a good night, everybody.